WFUV app or head to WFUV.org.
The Fordham Rams enter Saturday afternoon in need of a win. Wednesday's loss to VCU at the Spiegel Center was a frustrating one. Fordham allowed 23 offensive rebounds and were unable to capitalize on an empty arena caused by the water crisis in Richmond. The Rams looked improved in several areas on Wednesday, but they nevertheless ended the day at 0-3 in the Atlantic 10, their worst start to conference play since the 2019-20 season. But it's not all gloom and doom. Although Fordham sits at 0-3, they've faced three of the top teams the Atlantic 10 has to offer. And now, they have an opportunity to right the ship this afternoon against Davidson. The Wildcats are an elite three-point shooting team led by Reed Bailey, the A-10's third leading scorer. Matt McKillop's squad are a stellar 9-0 at home this season and are looking to keep that perfection going against the Rams. It's Fordham against Davidson from John M. Belk Arena next on WFUV Sports.
From John M. Belk Arena here in Davidson, North Carolina, this is Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Today's matchup is between the Fordham Rams and the Davidson Wildcats. I'm Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams on the call with you for this one. Chaz, first off, Fordham come into this game at 8-8, 0-3 in the Atlantic 10. Coming off that tough road loss against VCU at Spiegel Center, 73-61. A low-scoring game in the first half without fans due to the water crisis in Richmond. Close throughout, but Fordham not able to pull it out. Now they sit at 0-3. Well, you could say, Chaz, that Fordham opened up their Atlantic 10 schedule against three of the really best teams in the Atlantic 10.
I could say that, and I would say that. I'm in a firm belief that those three teams, that being VCU, St. Louis, and St. Bonaventure, will end up top three in the Atlantic 10 rankings as Dayton continues to skid with the loss to University of Massachusetts, the loss to George Washington. A team like Dayton, which was the boogeyman for the A-10, seems to be slipping by the wayside. Those three teams that Fordham faced are the three toughest opponents in the A-10. Let it be known that two of them are at home, but those are the two. They have to face St. Bonnie's again at the end of the season, but the rest of them, only once through the season, they got it out of the way. This is the most winnable game in conference play that the Fordham Rams have seen so far. And in this home arena versus a Davidson team that can just shoot the lights out, such for their identity, the Fordham Rams are looking to beat them with the rebounding and athleticism, the two weak points for the Davidson Wildcats.
Davidson come into this one undefeated at home here at Belk Arena, 11-4 overall. 1-1 in the A-10. We've got starting lineups for you for both teams. For Fordham, it's unchanged from the game on Wednesday against VCU. Jaffe Mador, Zach Riley, Jackie Johnson, Ramad Dean, Abdu Timbila. Zach Riley played well and keeps his spot in that starting five.
You love to see the kid from Auckland in that starting lineup. He brings grit, defense, three-point shooting ability, and a facilitating aspect and a leadership on the court aspect that we haven't seen in the starting lineup since Darius Quisenberry.
And for Davidson, they haven't played since last Saturday. That was a 77-71 win over Duquesne here at Belk Arena. That's an unchanged starting five from that game. Reed Bailey at 18.3 points per game. He's the star, potential first-team All-A-10 player. Then Bobby Durkin, you can shoot the lights out of the ball. Mike Loughnane, Zach Laput, and Connor Kuchera are your five for Davidson, a team that can shoot the ball really well. Fordham going to have their hands on, going to need to be focused defensively to close out these shooters.
Look at Reed Bailey trying to paint you a word picture. He's towering over Abdu Timbila.
It's Timbila against Bailey on the opening tip. Timbila back to Johnson. We're underway here in Davidson. Fordham in maroon, Davidson in white. Quickly into the post on the far side for Abdu Timbila. Davidson comes with a double team straight away. Riley swung to the near side wing for Jackie Johnson. His triple's too strong. Rebound loose and secured by Reed Bailey. Connor Kuchera back the other way for Davidson into the front court on the far side. To Loughnane on this near side wing. Pushed out again to Kuchera in front of the Fordham bench. Kuchera, the screen up high from Bailey. Near side corner, Durkin feeds the post for Reed Bailey. Backing down Abdu. Left elbow, Bailey with the right hand. That's short. Abdu Timbila with the rebound. Jackie Johnson into the front court for the Fordham Rams. 45 seconds gone by in this first half. Still scoreless between Fordham and Davidson. Jaffe Medor up high. Now Ramad Dean, top of the key, handoff for Jackie Johnson. 10 to shoot for the Rams. Johnson feeds the post. Low block for Timbila. He lost it. That's a turnover. Back the other way comes Bobby Durkin for the Wildcats. Dean watching him. Durkin, the feed down low for LaPut to the far side. That's Locknane. Straight away now again. Durkin has it. Swung to this near side wing. Kuchera blows by Timbila, and Connor Kuchera gets the scoring started. 2-0 Davidson.
To an empty, restricted area. Once Kuchera broke up off of Abdu Timbila on the perimeter, there was no stopping him at the cup.
Dean, far corner for Fordham. Pushes it up high again for Jackie Johnson. Screen coming from Abdu. Jackie drives. Riley to the near corner for Jaffe Medor. Gets inside. Forced to retreat to Jackie with 6 seconds on the shot clock. Screen from Abdu. Jackie drives. Lefty floater. Too strong. Rebound. Bobby Durkin. And here come the Wildcats. Durkin for Bailey, far side wing. LaPut feeds the post for Bailey. Dean watching him. Bailey attacks with the left hand. That's short. Couldn't get the roll. Ramad Dean secures the board. Riley quickly back the other way for Fordham. Straight away, Ramad Dean fakes the three. Will drive and set, and he lost it at the free throw line. Active hands from Zach LaPut, who leads the counter the other way. LaPut for the trailer. That's Kuchera, and that's a perfect three from Connor Kuchera. 5-0 Davidson. 17:38 to go first half.
You have to watch the trail on the fast break there. You know this Davidson Wildcat team wants to shoot the long ball.
Zach Riley has it up top for Fordham. Timbila with the screen. Riley to the far corner for Medor. Thought about a three. He'll keep it here. Now will fire Jaffe Medor. That's short. Rebound, Reed Bailey. Nice job boxing out on Abdu. Locknane ahead for Durkin. Wide open in the corner. That's Kuchera. He knocks it down again. 8-0 Davidson. 2 minutes and 50 seconds in.
And all of Davidson's scores seem to be on blown coverages. They haven't made a contested shot yet. The Rams yet to score.
Jaffe Medor in the front court for Fordham. Abdu Timbila, top of the key. Handoff up high for Jaffe. Coming around the screen is Johnson. The near wing three, too strong. Rebound secured by Bobby Durkin. Fordham still looking for their first points of the afternoon. LaPut on the far side. Commanding the offense up high. Driving on Ramad Dean. Reed Bailey now, top of the key. Against Abdu. Bailey drives. Bailey spins with the left hand, took the contact, and Reed Bailey will go to the free throw line for Davidson.
You know Bailey loves to spin off that post. He's very similar to Abdu in that way. Once he catches it in that under 10-foot area, you know he's going to go up with it, and he just counters spin off of spin off of spin. Good defense by Timbila, stopping 2 of the counters, and then a little too much hand action for that third one. Bailey going to the stripe.
So 2 shots coming for the junior Reed Bailey at 18.3 points per game. Started every game of his Davidson career so far. His numbers have improved every year until this point, where now he's the focal point of this program.
He's just been fantastic, Guzman. I mean, what Bailey brings to this Davidson team is a little bit of a wrinkle offensively. This team known for their shooters and playing within the flow of the offense, the backdoor cuts, the off-ball screening, really fundamental flowing basketball. Reed Bailey just brings like a hooper type of energy to this Davidson squad, able to go into isolation whenever he wants as Davidson gets into the 1-2-2 press.
Bailey makes both free throws. It's 10-0 Davidson with 16:24 to go first half. Medor up ahead for Dean. Fordham able to break the press. Matt Zona in the game now for Abdu Timbila. Jaffe Medor commanding the offense up high. Riley comes around the screen, gets the handoff for Medor. Zona up high. Another handoff far side for Johnson. That's a deep triple, just barely grazed the front of the rim. And Connor Kuchera can go back the other way for Davidson. That's a three from Durkin, too strong. Rebound by Dean. Fordham looking for their first points as Jackie Johnson dribbles the ball ahead. It's 10-0 Davidson, over 4 minutes gone by first half. Johnson on the far side. To Riley, near side wing to the corner for Medor. Dribble drive, nice move, Jaffe Medor with the finish. The Rams finally on the board, it's 10-2. Durkin on this near side wing as Davidson advances the ball quickly. Reed Bailey now in the post. Driving on Dean with the right hand. Great defense from Ramad Dean, and Zach Riley grabs the rebound off the rim. Johnson the other way for Fordham. Far side wing, push to Ramad Dean, up high again for Matt Zona. to the near side wing for Zach Riley. Straight away to Medor. The flip down low for Zona. Got the positioning. Matt Zona over Bobby Durkin. It's 10-4. 15:08 to go first half. 4 straight points for Fordham after the slow start. Reed Bailey, top of the key for Davidson. Working on Zona. Drives left using that frame. The righty floater. That's good. Vintage Reed Bailey. 12-4 Davidson. 5 minutes and 10 seconds gone by here first half. Dean on the far side wing. Bounce pass straight away from Matt Zona with Bailey watching him. Handoff for Medor still on the perimeter. Jaffe drives left, gets into the lane, kick out for Riley. His triple, no good. Rebound Davidson. Bailey for Loughnane. He'll slow things down here. 14:30 to go first half. It's 12-4 Wildcats. Loughnane almost went up and down with that, able to get it to Bailey, who feeds down low. Connor Kachera over Jaffe Medor, got the roll and the foul. Strong move from Connor Kachera to make it 14-4 Davidson with 14:18 to go in the first half. That will take us to our first media timeout. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Welcome back inside Belk Arena here in Davidson, North Carolina. Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams. It's 14-4 Davidson at this first media timeout with 14:18 to go in the first half. Chaz, obviously not an ideal start for Fordham. Offensively, Jackie Johnson 0 for 4. They're going to need to get him going if they want to get the offense flowing in this first half.
Absolutely, and defensively, you want to look at Reed Bailey for all of the 9 shots that have gone up for the Davidson Wildcats. 4 from Bailey, 4 for Kachera. The difference is Kachera 4 for 4. Bailey in those post spin actions only 1 for 4. Abdu Tambila doing a great job of guarding Bailey. Unfortunately, he got blown by on the perimeter and Kachera was able to get to the cup. So I understand the substitution from Coach Keith Ergo. The only time Bailey has scored in that post action he loves was on Matt Zona. Looking to switch up your center rotation, especially with Jaden Smith out with injury. But I agree, offensively, Johnson starting 0 for 4, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. Some bad shots. Fordham as a whole, 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. Davidson, bottom 3 in the A10 in three-point defense, so you understand the shot selection. It's just a matter of getting them to fall.
Slow start for Fordham here. Connor Kachera leading the way for Davidson so far with 10 points on a perfect 4 of 4 shooting. He's one of the more experienced guys on this Davidson team in his 3rd year there after previously spending 2 years at William and Mary. See what the look is for Fordham coming out of the timeout. Some substitutions. It looks like Jameer Tripp and Josh Rivera will enter the game. There'll be 1 free throw coming here from Connor Kachera coming out of this media timeout.
And this lineup shows the real Keith Ergo way. I'm talking about 5 guys that before they got to the Rams, not known for their defense, but Coach Ergo has done a great job of instilling the want, the need, the privilege to be able to go out there and guard in Johnson, Medor, Rivera, Tripp, and Zona.
So 1 more shot coming from Kachera to try to complete the 3-point play. And the free throw short, no good, so it stays 14-4 with 14:15 to go in the first half. Medor into the front court, handoff on the far side for Jackie Johnson. Crossover, dribble drive left, kicks to the corner for Medor. Up high again for Josh Rivera, move to this near side wing now for Jackie Johnson, who drives to the lane, to the corner. That's a 3 from Josh Rivera, and he knocks it down. Big shot from Josh. 14-7 Davidson, under 14 to go in the first half.
That's everything. That's why you have Josh Rivera out there. Look at Jackie Johnson picking up full court.
Loughnane able to escape into the front court. It's in Bailey's hands now on the perimeter on the far side. Handoff, Loughnane drives. That's Kachera rather with the left hand again. Connor Kachera, so slippery, gets around Zona and finishes with the left hand. 16-7 Davidson, 13:30 to go first half. Mazzona up high. Handoff for Medor on the perimeter. Medor in the far corner, driving baseline. Gives it to Rivera, who'll drive. Rivera, the finish and the foul. What a sequence for Josh Rivera. Knocks down the three and then the potential three-point play on the next possession.
Josh Rivera, a physical specimen out there on the court. Again, Bailey not able to shift over defensively in time. Gets wrapped up. Josh Rivera with the contact. Going up, finishing nice and pretty off the window.
Josh Rivera 2 for 2 early now at the free throw line, where he was 4 for 4 against VCU from the Spiegel Center.
I think the narrative on him being bad at free throws is over. Fordham as a whole still not doing what you need them to do, but Josh Rivera, the bar was low last year on the free throw percentage. 42%, I believe, 42.3.
Yep.
Josh Rivera, big improvements here, and don't be surprised if you see Fordham go right into their man trap press.
The free throw just grazes the front of the rim, no good. Ball out of play on this near side. Last touch off Fordham. It'll be Davidson basketball.
There we go. Watch the traps here. They're going to go Fordham in maroon, looking to push those Davidson shooters into the corners.
Fordham with 3 men in the backcourt. Rivera, the pressure. And now Davidson can set up that 3-2 zone, prevalent for Fordham. Inside for Bailey, kick back out for Cochera, and he's fouled by Josh Rivera as he went to close out the three-point attempt. Cochera never got the shot off, so that'll be a foul on the floor.
Yeah, there we go. You love to see that out of Josh Rivera. Even physicality on defense. I know it's a mistake there, but if Josh Rivera's going out there making plays and trying on defense, playing active, non-lazy defense, that's in the green column. That's a positive for the Fordham Rams.
We saw Fordham in this 3-2 look against VCU. This is a much better shooting team than Davidson, so you got to be disciplined on this zone. Bailey has it in the middle for Cochera. He'll drive on trip, shot no good. Rebound Jackie Johnson. The other way for Fordham. Jackie drives left, gets inside, off the glass and in. That's more like it from Jackie Johnson. Fordham back within 5 with 12:45 to go in the first half. This is Hunter Adam on the floor for the first time for Cochera on the far side. Laputte back for Cochera, inside for Bailey, to the corner, the three, beautiful, from Bobby Durkin, who shoots almost 46% from deep on the season, knocks that one down. It's 19-11 Davidson. Jackie Johnson, far side wing. We're going to drive left. He does on Cochera, tries to kick to the corner, active hands from Adam, and Davidson gets the steal. Durkin, the other way for the Wildcats, screen from Bailey, who has it straight away, driving on Medor. That's a mismatch, trip to help. Bailey lost the ball. They're going to get tripped for a foul as he went up for it.
Oh, that's such an interesting foul call because you know Bailey has such a tendency I talked about earlier on the post spins, spinning into someone with the ball high up in the air. He likes to keep that ball high. He's a traditional center in that way. But if you call the foul there because he's technically in the shot motion because the ball's so up high, but he spun into Jameer Tripp, who's had hands up. His feet didn't leave the ground.
Tripp fouled out in the last game against VCU. First free throw no good from Reed Bailey. But for Fordham, this zone look was effective at times against VCU. An early check-in here for Ryan Pettis for Fordham. Wow, only played 1 minute against VCU. He's on the court here in place of Jackie Johnson. Bailey gets the second free throw to go. 20-11 Davidson, 12:07 to go first half.
Pettis, someone that likes to go out there and guard. You have to imagine Ergo wants him at the top of the zone. Active hands, active communication. A big opportunity here for the freshman out of California.
And Pettis will dribble the ball ahead for Fordham for Josh Rivera to Zona up high. Handoff on the perimeter for Medor. Straight away still. Medor drives left. Handoff for Tripp on the far side to Rivera, near side wing, drives baseline. Rivera looking to fade, instead will kick to the corner for Tripp. 10 on the shot clock, Tripp backing down. Zona up top, he'll launch a triple in and out. Rebound Roberts Blooms on the floor for the first time for Davidson. The man from Latvia will carry ahead. Durkin for Herbert. Handoff for Blooms, he'll drive inside for Herbert. Zona watching him. For Cochera in the lane, working on Zona, trying to lean in. They'll first forced to kick back for Durkin. The crossover on Josh into the paint. Durkin, the fadeaway. That's perfect. What a shot from Bobby Durkin. High degree of difficulty. He knocks it down. It's 11-point Davidson lead.
You got to live with that shot if you're the Fordham Rams. A fading away contested two.
Zona up high for Fordham. On the far side, this is Tripp. Thought about a three. He'll attack instead. Forced to pick up his dribble. Rivera, the far corner three, no good. Off the backboard, off the rim and out. Durkin the rebound. Davidson the other way. Durkin driving on Zona. Kicks out to the perimeter for Blooms up high. Pushed out to the far side. Hunter Adam feeds the post down low for Joe Hurlburt. Working against Rivera. Hurlburt spins with the right hand. Shot no good. Got the open look. Rivera the rebound. Up ahead to Medor. Quickly the other way. Medor driving right. Trying to create some separation. Feeds inside for Zona, who got stripped by Bobby Durkin, who's been all over the place early in this first half. Davidson with it across the timeline. 22-11 Wildcats with 10:15 to go in the first half. Kuchera out to the far side wing for Blooms. Up high for Hurlburt. Adam now for Kuchera. Around the screen from Hurlburt. Kuchera driving on Zona. Left hand high off the glass. Rebound Hurlburt into the corner for Kuchera. Three wouldn't go. Josh Rivera with the rebound. Pettis up ahead for Fordham. On the far side wing. Lost his dribble. Gives it to Zona up high. Medor now. Gets the handoff and will settle back at the logo. 15 to shoot for Fordham. Medor for Pettis straight away, looking to attack. Lost the handle, got it back, and Ryan Pettis is fouled as he goes to the rim.
Pettis looking to get his two at the stripe. You love to see the control, losing the ball a little bit, able to maintain. Let's see if RP can get two at the line.
That will take us to our under 12 media timeout. The score is Davidson 22, Fordham 11 with 9:34 to go in the first half. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
We've got 5 A-10 games on today's slate. We've already got a box score for one of them. How about this? LaSalle upsets St. Bonaventure 83-82 in overtime. Deuce Jones hits the game-winning three with 3 seconds left. And after a 14-1 start to the season, St. Bonaventure has lost 2 straight. Speaking of crazy upsets, well, last time we saw UMass, they upset Dayton. You heard Chaz talk about it in the broadcast. They're going up against George Mason today. That's another 10-plus win team. Right now, George Mason up 11-10 as UMass looks to get hot. Later today, we'll have 10-5 Loyola Chicago against 10-6 St. Joe's at 3 p.m. and cap off the night with 12-3 URI against 7-9 Richmond at 6 p.m. Continuing this trend of NBA games getting postponed, we've already got 3 games postponed today. Spurs, Lakers, Hornets, Clippers both canceled due to the raging fires in LA. Rockets, Hawks canceled because of hazardous weather conditions. The snow in the southeast, similar snow to what Davidson and the Carolinas are getting. No local action, but Knicks and Nets both in action last night, and they both lost to 2 of the best teams in the West, OKC and Denver. With the one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Lou Orlando.
Back here at Belk Arena, Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams. Stunning the Bonnies, losing 2 in a row in the A-10 after such a hot start. Thanks for that update, Lou. The score here is 22-11 in favor of Davidson with 9:34 to go in the first half. Chaz, some early minutes here for Ryan Pettis. The rotation's changing a little bit for Fordham, but considering how slow the offense started, you feel like you kind of want to go with some different looks here.
Yeah, you just have to change something. I mean, Davidson got out to a 10-0 run. That is not a recipe for success if you're trying to get one in a home arena. I'm telling you, the way these teams, you'll see, Lou just talked about upsets. Beautiful voice there from sweet Lou Orlando. Upsets are done by teams that play defense. That's how you upset teams in a mid-major conference. You go out there, you play hard-nosed, balls-to-the-wall defense, you make sure that the other team can't score, and then you get yours in the fast break. That's the mentality that Keith Ergo's been trying to instill in this team. I don't know if it's clicked yet.
So 2 shots coming out of the media timeout for the freshman Ryan Pettis, who played just 1 minute right at the end against VCU, getting some early minutes here in the first half and a chance at the free throw line. It's his 13th appearance of the season. First free throw rattles home for Ryan Pettis. 6'4" freshman guard from East Palo Alto, California. This is his biggest spot he's been in so far this season.
Absolutely.
Here in conference play, really a game that Fordham really needs to win here, sitting at 0-3 in the A-10. Pettis goes 2 for 2 from the line. It's back to a 9-point Davidson lead.
The difference between 1-3 and 0-4 to start conference play is worlds apart. Worlds apart.
Loughnane in the backcourt, watched closely by Jackie Johnson. 9:30 to go in the first half. Loughnane able to cross the timeline straight away. Loughnane hassled by Johnson. Hurlburt will try the 3. No good. Timbila let him have that. And Jackie Johnson will go back the other way for Fordham. Johnson for Dean, top of the key. Rivera has it up high for Fordham, driving right. Rivera spins in the lane. Wild shot wouldn't go. Rebound secured by Davidson. Loughnane here for the Wildcats up top. Coming around the screen, that's Kuchera. He'll drive on Timbila. Kuchera, the step around. Beautiful underhand lay with the right hand. 24-13, Davidson.
It's all about positioning down low as the bigs in the restricted area. Your hands don't matter if your body's not in the right place. You got to move those feet, Abdu.
8:37 to go first half. 11-point Davidson lead. Josh Rivera, handoff on the far side wing for Jackie Johnson to this near corner for Rivera. Up high again. Johnson, the deep 3 off front rim and out. Prayer of a 3 from Jackie Johnson wouldn't go. Kuchera the other way for Davidson. On the far side, working on Ramad Dean. Gets the screen up high. The feed down low. Timbila will get called for the foul as Joe Hurlburt went up for the shot.
Whoa.
Second foul on Abdu in this first half. And 2 shots coming for Joe Hurlburt.
That's a call. That was definitely a call.
Davidson threw, Sean Logan was one of the guys for this Davidson team that was tall and could get rebounds and was a big factor in the paint. He's injured now, so you're seeing some more minutes for Joe Hurlburt as he knocks down his first free throw. It's a Davidson team, like you mentioned, Chaz, toward the bottom of the A10 in rebounding, something that VCU did so well the last team we saw. But Hurlburt giving them a little bit of an extra size look, the junior from North Dakota. Second shot goes as well. So it's a 13-point Davidson lead with 8:10 to go first half.
This is not the start you needed for the Fordham Rams.
Pettis up ahead, hands off for Johnson, who pushes it out to the far side wing for Josh Rivera. Straight away, this is Matt Zona. Johnson with it again. Slips by the screen, driving left. Johnson underneath, flips it up for Zona, who has it. He's double-teamed and couldn't finish with the left hand. They go to the ground with it. Hurlburt and Zona. Zona's got it, and that's going to be a jump ball as Matt Zona and Joe Hurlburt dueled on the ground.
You love to see that out of your center, not giving up on the possession. A little bit of a wild pass out of Johnson. Then Matt Zona not giving up on the play. Those are the kinds of things that are going to get you back into 13-point deficits at the under 8 media first half.
With 7:47 to go in the first half, the score is Davidson 26, Fordham 13. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're 2 of your hosts for NFL Friday, WFUV Sports' exclusive NFL podcast.
From breaking down the weekly slate to fantasy football pickups, we've got you covered on all things around the NFL.
Stay tuned for our hosts' weekly picks as they compete against each other all season long.
Football is here, and so is NFL Friday.
Nick Guzman and Chaz McAdams back here inside Belk Arena. Davidson with a 26-13 lead over Fordham with 7:47 to go in the first half. The Wildcats shooting 50% from the field and 50% from 3. Fordham 31% from the field and 11% from 3. That includes just a 1 of 6 showing so far for Jackie Johnson. 0 for 4 from 3. Really in a game that Fordham feel like they need to win here on the road. Not the best start, not a good start at all here in Davidson.
And all but 2 of Davidson's points are coming in the flow of the offense. Sorry, 5 of points if you count Reed Bailey's free throws. It's all catch and shoot threes or driving cuts to the basket. A lot of fouls quickly here for the Rams. 5 with 7:47 left in the half. Only 2 on the part of the Wildcats. You're hoping on the part of the Rams that they can get a little more disciplined on defense, not fall for those shot fakes and those up fakes out of Bailey, Kuchera, even Holberg doing a great job of getting guys in the air and getting to the line.
Davidson, their leading scorer is Kano Kuchera with 14 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Reed Bailey has 5. Durkin also with 5. 7:47 to go in this first half. Davidson will inbound in the backcourt. They get it into Loughnane. Durkin and Loughnane again across the timeline. Zach Riley back on the floor for Fordham, who are back in that 3-2 zone look. Inside for Bailey. Looking to penetrate on Dean. Backs him down. Spins with the left hand. Reed Bailey puts it up and in. One-on-one, one of the best players in the Atlantic 10 in that spot.
And that's just Reed Bailey exerting his will on whichever defender unluckily finds himself enough in that restricted area.
28-13 Wildcats, 7:20 to go. First half, Jackie Johnson has it up high for Fordham. Splits the screen. Johnson inside. Beautiful acrobatic lay with the left hand. Smooth play from Jackie Johnson. Fordham within 13. 7:05 to go first half. Able to advance past the zone to Durkin up high, with Riley watching him to the near side wing for Loughnane. Pushed out there to the far side for Laput. Into the corner. Blooms up high again for Loughnane. Laput on the far side. Handoff for Durkin. Contested 3. Shot no good. Jackie Johnson flies in for the board. Into the front court for the Rams. Johnson crossover. Dean open for 3. Too strong. Durkin the rebound. Riley watching him. Durkin, top of the key. Push to Blooms on this near side wing. Bador, close to him. Bailey, top of the key, drives on Zona. Got the step and gets the finish. Reed Bailey, so explosive. Using that frame, it's 30-15 Davidson, 6:15 to go first half.
Right now, Davidson operating out of a dice 5 offense. You got Bailey at that free throw line, able to create for his shooters around him. The ideal offense for the way this team's been constructed.
Riley for Zona up high. Jackie Johnson comes around on the perimeter. Johnson for Zona. Thought about a 3. The near corner for Mador. He'll drive, takes the contact, kick out to Johnson. Far side wing, the step back triple, in and out. Jackie can't buy a 3. Riley got the rebound. We'll see what the call is here. There's a whistle.
Baseline violation.
There you go. Baseline violation on the Rams. 5:45 to go in the first half. It's 30-15 Davidson. Riley and Zona will check out. Tripp and Rivera back in for Fordham.
And I would expect to see a lot of substitutions for the Rams. They're not going to see a lot of guys putting their warm-ups back on. It's going to be quick, fresh legs. I think they're going to run their 3-2 zone a lot of the time, and it's going to be active hands, active feet, 24/7.
But it feels like if you're Davidson, having Bailey as that guy in the middle is almost a cheat code against the zone.
Literally.
Guy who can pass the ball so well, and also from that spot, he can make a shot.
But in that 3-2, you still have to adjust to all those three-point shooters.
Loughnane up ahead. This is Durkin straight away for Bloom's near side wing. Drives baseline on Dean. He'll step back for the 2. Josh Rivera with the rebound. Mador for Johnson. Looking for Tripp in the corner. Pass deflected into the Davidson bench.
Look at those active hands. Great defense out of Davidson, stopping the fast break after a tough miss.
5:28 to go first half. 30-15 Davidson. Tripp to inbound in front of the Wildcat bench. Into the corner for Rivera. Up high, this is Tripp. Driving left. Spins back right. Tripp stuck in the lane to the corner for Rivera. Fakes the 3. He'll back down Bailey. Rivera, the righty hook. Didn't even hit the rim. Durkin the rebound. The other way for Davidson. To the far corner. Kuchera for Blooms. Pushed up high again for Durkin. Inside for Bailey. Fordham back in the man-to-man defense. Blooms drives on Josh. Pulls up for 2. In and out. That was halfway down, but Ramad Dean able to grab the rebound. Johnson quickly ahead for Fordham. Crossover. Trying to spin. He lost it at the free throw line. The other way, it's Loughnane. Blocked by Dean. Ball stayed in play on the baseline. Rivera back the other way for Fordham. And now, what's the call?
Retroactive out of bounds. Dean was out of bounds. His foot touching the black out of bounds line. And the ball hit him off the miss. That's the right call. Coach Ergo obviously advocating and arguing for his guys. Let's see if it gets overturned. I mean, this place erupted for the right reason because that was definitely out of bounds.
And they're going to keep it here for Davidson. Last touch was off Ramad Dean.
That's the right call.
The fans reacted immediately.
Yeah. That was almost on the level of Kevin Durant versus the Rockets 2018 when he did those 2 steps out of bounds. If that call didn't get reversed, it would have been an all-time miss.
The official on the far side able to spot it. Into Kuchera here, far side wing for Davidson. Swung up high here for LaPut. Screen from Bailey into the corner for Kuchera. Watched closely by Ramad Dean, 10 seconds to shoot. In for Bailey now. Trying to go to work on Tripp, right elbow. Bailey backing down, gets to the rim with the left hand, shot wouldn't go. Rebound kept alive by LaPut. Outside Durkin, his 3 is short. Rebound Ramad Dean. Mador came close to fouling him on that closeout, no call though. Tripp the other way for Fordham. Straight away for Dean, his 3, he got fouled. And Ramad Dean will go to the free throw line.
This place isn't going to be happy about that after Tripp high-fiving Kuchera on that three-point attempt.
You're right, yeah.
And again, we're talking about shutting down the only isolation player out there. Bailey doesn't look that comfortable in the offense right now. The Fordham wings, it's not the bigs. It hasn't been Timbila. It hasn't been Zona. It's been guys like Tripp and Rivera that have been able to stop Bailey on those post spins where he's all too comfortable at the rest of A10 play.
So with 4:05 to go here in the first half, it's 30-15 Davidson, and there's 2 shots coming for Ramad Dean. Junior in his 3rd year with the Rams from the Bahamas, makes the first free throw. This has been his best offensive season as a Fordham Ram so far, but you feel like there's still something there for him to unlock maybe. It was an offensive non-factor really against VCU.
Yeah, and this start, we're almost at, it's 4:05 left in the game. Dean shooting his 3rd free throw, looking at about 18 points for him, ideally rounding it out to 22, 25 by the half. That's not enough scoring to keep up with this Davidson squad.
Dean misses the 3rd free throw, so he goes 2 for 3 at the line. It's 30-17 Davidson. On this near side wing, this is Durkin. Feed down low looking for Kuchera. Ball went out of bounds on the baseline. Last touch off Connor Kuchera. It'll be Fordham basketball. They're able to force the turnover. With 3:52 to go here in the first half, we've hit the under 4 media timeout. It's Davidson 30, Fordham 17. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Well, we've got an update on that UMass George Mason game in the A10. George Mason pulling away 26-15 with 5 minutes left in the first half. It is a 21-5 run for George Mason. UMass went scoreless for about 5.5 minutes. That was snapped just a few seconds ago, rather. So Mason starting to pull away, and no surprise as they come in 11-5 on the season. St. Bonaventure lost earlier today to LaSalle in a thrilling overtime affair. In NCAA Top 25 hoops, USC upsets a number 13 ranked Illinois team pretty handily at that. And then a fun one later today, number 5 Alabama and number 10 Texas A&M at 8 p.m. on ESPN. On the ice, Rangers, Devils, Islanders all in action tonight. Devils Lightning at 7 p.m. Islanders Utah at 9. Rangers and the Vegas Golden Knights at 10. The Rangers fresh off that OT win against the Devils on Thursday, trying to see if they can turn the corner against one of the best teams in the West. With the one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Lou Orlando.
Welcome back to Belk Arena. This is Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams. Davidson with a 30-17 lead over Fordham with 3:52 to go in the first half. Chaz, Reed Bailey, when Fordham have been in that 3-2 zone look, seems like almost a little bit like a cheat code having him down low, but doesn't look that comfortable driving to the rim. It's been the open shooters for Davidson that have been causing the problems for the Rams.
That's the issue. You have to realize that Bailey's the only one that's going to go out there and get his in isolation. Everyone else is working within the flow of the offense. Want to take a little bit of time to shout out Davidson, 0 turnovers so far in the half. Not a lot of that. A 4-0 assist to turnover ratio. Meanwhile, Fordham with a 2-7 assist to turnover ratio. That should give it a little window into why they're down 13 points.
I think that last one is going to count as a turnover, though, on right before the media timeout.
Sure.
So it'll be one turnover for Davidson. Still, an incredibly clean first half from the Wildcats. Fordham 7 turnovers for them. But it'll be Rams basketball in the backcourt. Tripp will inbound to Medor. 3:52 to go first half. Fordham trying to close this deficit before the halftime break. Tripp straight away. Near side wing for Josh Rivera. Pushed out to the far wing for Zach Riley. Straight away for Medor. 15 to shoot for the Rams. Tripp drives, gets inside, and he got fouled on his way to the rim by Zach Laputte.
That is a great way to utilize your size in this Fordham offense. You know that Davidson's looking for that dribble handoff. Eventually, you run it enough times around the perimeter, they're going to get too comfortable, try to jump it, gives you space to go right down, perpendicular to the baseline, get to the rack. Now you're getting yours at the charity stripe. Jameer Tripp out of Brooklyn.
And as good as Davidson are at shooting, they're not the most physical team, especially defensively. You feel like guys like Tripp, guys like Rivera will be able to execute those dribble drives, take the contact, and go to the free throw line as Tripp makes his first free throw.
We've seen it from Rivera so far, only one trip to the line, but they're afraid they're sagging off on him a little bit. That's why he was able to shoot 2 threes, making one of them. Out of Tripp, he's in an offensive cold spot right now, so you love to see more from him offensively versus probably the weakest defensive team in conference play he's faced so far.
Tripp makes the first, misses the second. Davidson the other way. Kuchera on the far side wing for Bailey, right elbow. Bailey against Josh Rivera, backing him down. Still on the outside. Coming around the screen, that's Locknane. Gets past Riley. Locknane, the blow by and the finish. 32-18 Davidson, 3:09 to go first half. Jaffe Medor in front of the Davidson bench. Straight away for Jameer Tripp. To the corner, Dean, he'll launch a 3, in and out. Rebound Laputte, he'll get called for the foul though, as Zach Riley went to the ground.
That's on Riley.
Or are they gonna call that foul against Fordham? It's a foul on Zach Riley. Foul against the Rams, despite Riley being the one who goes flying. And with 2:58 to go in the first half, 32-18 Davidson. And Davidson will inbound in the backcourt.
Some vocal fans here in Davidson.
And the inbound here comes to Bobby Durkin. The Wildcats with a 14-point lead. The pass cross court off the hands of Kuchera and way into the stands for a turnover. Fordham, not even the ball pressure really impacting that one, just a loose pass into the stands.
Can I get a ball, don't lie? Can I get a ball, don't lie?
Ball don't lie.
Can I get a ball, don't lie? There we go.
And Jameer Tripp will inbound for Fordham. Flipped ahead for Jaffe Medor at the logo. He'll drive right. Medor loose with the ball in the lane. Somehow able to escape with it past 3 Davidson defenders. Near side wing, Jameer Tripp. The 3 is too strong. Fordham can't buy a 3. They're 1 of 13 from beyond the arc in this game. Laputte on the near side wing for Davidson. Feeds down low for Bailey. Backing down on Josh Rivera. Bailey looking to spin with the left hand. Shot got the friendly roll off the side of the rim. 34-18 Wildcats, 2:24 to go first half. Medor up high for Tripp. Crossover. Handoff on the perimeter for Medor rather. It's on the far corner for Rivera. He'll launch a 3, in and out. Rebound Zach Riley goes back up with it. Can't get the finish. No foul called either despite the contact. Kuchera the other way for Davidson. Under 2 to play in this first half. To the corner, Durkin clicked up high for Locknane. Inside, the jump step. Pass deflected and stolen away by Ramad Dean. Medor the other way for the Rams. For Tripp. Down low, turned over. The bounce pass right to Kuchera. Tripp must not have seen him there, looking for Dean down low. And that's going to be another turnover on the Rams. Kuchera has it in the front court for Davidson. Locknane up high for Reed Bailey. 1:30 to go. First half, Laputte near side wing. Pushed out to the far side. Kuchera to Bailey on the wing. Against Rivera, 7 seconds to shoot. Bailey working down low, trying to back him down. Bailey shot over Riley, wouldn't go. Josh Rivera secures the rebound. Ahead for Jaffe Medor. Crossover, the drive, took the contact, and Jaffe Medor will go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
And again, Fordham, the lead does not translate to the on-court play. Again, there's just so many times in the flow of that Davidson offense where they're not getting out on the shooters they're supposed to, or when they are, it's an overcorrection and it's a blow-by, drive to the rack, no continuation on that. That's going to be a baseline inbound. Oh, no, that's okay, good. It's
it will be 2 shots coming here for Jaffe Medor. Fordham shooting 6 of 24 from the field. That's 25%. 1 of 14 from 3. That's 7%. And 5 of 8 from the line so far. That's 62%. Those numbers, Chaz, on offense are not going to win you very many games in this conference.
But you have to acknowledge the shutting down of Reed Bailey has been huge. Again, it's everyone else you have to worry about. Third leading scorer in the A-10 with 9 points, 3 of them coming from the line, 3 for 4 from the line. I like what Fordham's doing on him defensively. Again, it really just is a matter of everyone else. You got Kuchera with 13, 2 for 3 from 3, 6 for 9 from the field. He doesn't usually take many layups, but the overcorrections on the three-point shooting is killing the Rams.
First shot good from Jaffe Mador. Makes it 34-19 Davidson. Jaffe had a team-high 19 points against VCU, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 of 6 from deep. Probably the Rams' best player in that last game.
Absolutely.
Chance,
one of them.
Chance to go 2 for 2 from the line here. Jaffe knocks down the free throw. So it's a 14-point Davidson lead with 1:12 to go in the first half. Bailey for Durkin. He'll dribble the ball ahead for the Wildcats. Watched closely by Josh Rivera. Durkin, near side wing, feeds down low for Bailey. Low block, spins around Zona and finishes with the right hand. Pretty move from Reed Bailey. 16-point Davidson lead, 53 to go in this first half. Dean, the handoff for Rivera. Far side wing, Mador, he'll drive, gets inside, blocked away by Mike Loughnane. Oh my goodness. Loughnane just 6'4", able to block that one from behind on Jaffe. Last touch off the Rams, it'll be Davidson basketball.
Good stuff there out of Loughnane. You don't normally see him lighting up the defensive box score. Great athletic ability out of him.
40 seconds to go first half, 16-point Davidson lead. The Rams back to this 3-2 zone with the 3 men pressuring up high. Bailey positioning himself in the middle. Kuchera trying to find him. Loughnane now near side wing out to the far side. Kuchera, Durkin to the far corner. They feed down low for Bailey. He was open. He missed the layup, though. Rebound Dean. Mador the other way. The shot clock is off with 20 seconds to go in the half. Mador tries to turn the corner and gets bumped on his way to the rim by Mike Loughnane.
Great play. Shot clock off. 17.4 left. You're not going to get it to single digits before the half.
And looks like a timeout called here with 17.4 to go. It's a timeout for Keith Ergo. And we'll keep it here with 17.4 seconds to go in this first half. 36-20 Davidson. Chaz, it's been a difficult start to this game for the Rams on offense, as it was against VCU. They looked better on offense in the second half of that game, but then that's when the defense and the not being able to secure those offensive rebounds really made a difference. But Keith Ergo's going to have to figure out something to get this offense flowing a little bit better. I mean, your star Jackie Johnson is 2 for 8 with 4 points. No one has more than 5 points for you as a team, and you're at 20 with 17 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah, I would definitely call it an unfortunate offensive outing so far out of the place of the Rams. This last play, history tells us it's a Jackie Johnson isolation around the perimeter.
Which hasn't looked that great, except for the game winner against Seton Hall.
So, I think you might go fake for Johnson out on the perimeter, slip for Abdu. You want a buzzer beater shot here. You got Zona out there, could be a fake for a 3. A lot of interesting stuff here for the Rams. Let's see what Coach Keith Ergo drew up on that whiteboard.
Jaffe Mador will inbound under the basket. Flips up for Josh Rivera, who has it on the near side wing. 15 seconds and counting. Handoff up high for Mador. He'll settle down at the Davidson College logo. 10 seconds to go in the first half. 7 now. 6 and 5. Mador drives left. Gets inside up high for Johnson with 2. Johnson fakes. He'll launch the triple. Tried to bank it in. It wouldn't go. Off the backboard, off the front of the rim, and out. And that will do it for the first half here from Davidson. A rough one from the Fordham Rams. They trail 36-20 here in North Carolina. And we'll send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one halftime report with George Fugatakis.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome to the Rose Hill Studios. I'm George Fugatakis here with Lou Orlando, and the Rams are trailing the Davidson Wildcats by 16 with a score of 36-20. Lou, I'm not going to lie, this half was some unpleasant basketball for the Rams.
It's ugly. It's ugly basketball, and it's not the start that the Rams needed. Certainly not after you heard the guys on the broadcast say it. You've lost 3 straight games. Chaz says the big difference between 0-4 in conference play and 1-3. He's absolutely right. And to go from, by default, your best game of the season in conference play, that VCU game, because it wasn't a 20-point loss, but also because they actually looked pretty solid at times offensively in the second half.
There were flurries of good basketball.
Right, you saw sparks. There's some nice things. I think at stretches the way they were able to shut down Reed Bailey, but offensively, 23% from the field, 1 for 15 from 3. You're not going to win any games shooting at that clip. You're not going to be competitive in many games shooting at a clip like that, and it's a Fordham team that kind of no secret willed their way to wins at the end of non-conference based on offense and really offense alone. If the defense and the offense goes, it's going to be ugly, and that's what you saw in this first half.
Yeah, I completely agree. Something similar to what we saw against St. Bonaventure, where they're not playing the basketball we expect from Fordham to play. Again, 1 for 15 from 3. It's 6.7%. No team in any sports is gonna win going 1 for 15. Not even in baseball.
Yeah, and certainly if you're not, if you're going to win a game shooting less than 30% and 6% from 3, you have to then crush it on defense. You got to force turnovers. You got to wreak havoc. And I felt like there were 5 minutes left in the first half. Chaz is talking about, shout out to Davidson. They haven't turned the ball over yet. Now they end up turning the ball over 3 times in that half. Fordham's 8. It's Fordham that really has been the victim of defensive intensity. Davidson, with some of that pressure, the full court press, they've gotten into, I think, Fordham got out of their rhythm a little bit.
Fordham has attempted to push a full court press, try to have some transition offense, and it hasn't been working. So I think during this half, Ergo's going to sit his boys down and figure out what to do and how to fix these issues. First off, the shooting. The shooting is the biggest problem for this team. Going 1 for 15 and then 27% from the field is 23% from the field. Even worse, is not how you win basketball. So I think Ergo needs to sit his boys down, figure out what's wrong, get them to have better looks and higher percentage looks, start feeding the big men down low, and I feel like that's how we can claw back and make a little comeback.
I mean, the thing that I think worries me is how hard it's been for Fordham to find open shots, to find offense. And it started right from the jump, I think, against St. Louis, where you watch St. Louis operate offensively, and you went, wow. They find their open shooters so easily. It's so difficult.
It was fluid.
It's so difficult for Fordham to, they're doing so much that it makes Fordham so difficult, whether it's in a man, whether it's zone. They're finding the gaps. They're really making Fordham work. And then you looked at Fordham on the offensive end, and you went, they're really not making the defense move all that much. And I feel like this is another game where you're 1 for 15 from 3. I'm not sure how many of those threes are open threes. I'm seeing a lot of contested threes. Jackie Johnson 0 for 6 from 3. And that's the other part of this is the Rams are really not going to win any games if Jackie Johnson isn't on it. And last game against VCU, he's held to single digits for the first time all season. It's 4 points on 2 and 9 shooting, 0 for 6 from deep. Again, I think you have to live with the deep threes from Jackie Johnson because he can hit them. And when he gets hot, it's special.
I agree, but to an extent.
In this, especially in a game like this where nothing's falling for Fordham, is this the game where is this the situation where you want Jackie pulling from 5-7 feet beyond the arc? Probably not.
No, it's not when you're down 16 points and you need to try to claw a comeback. I know they're saying shooters shoot. He is a shooter, but there comes a point in time where those aren't the right looks. And there's only one person in this world who I trust to have to go out and shoot 35-foot threes, and that's Davidson man, Steph Curry.
That's a good point.
And Jackie, I love the way Jackie Johnson plays basketball, but no one else on this planet, Steph Curry, can go out and make a comeback shooting deep threes.
Right, and right. There's a difference between Jackie heats up, he's hit 2 threes from the wing, and he wants to pull up from the next neighborhood. We've seen him when he gets going. We compare him to a microwave. It seems like it takes one shot and boom, he's there. I don't think there's a single player on the court right now for Fordham offensively that you think is red hot at the moment.
No, there isn't.
And what's frustrating is that, there is, despite how ugly the first 3 conference games looked, you're absolutely right in saying, because Chaz said this, that's got the potential to be the top 3 teams in the A-10. St. Louis, Bonaventure, and then VCU. That could be the top 3 when it's all said and done. Those are 3, especially VCU and Bonaventure, really strong defenses.
Yeah,
but this is probably
St. Bonnie's looks good, especially under Woj. They look really good.
This is probably the easiest defense relatively that Fordham has seen in conference play, and it's not translating.
They can't break through it.
They're really struggling at the offensive end. I mean, listen, 20 points in a half is not great.
But you have to look at the offensive production from Davidson. They only have 2 guys in double. They have 2 guys with more than 5 points.
Well, I think that's a little frustrating.
But those 2 guys are also the majority of their offense. Those 2 guys are outscoring us alone.
Well, and you knew coming in
Reed Bailey and Connor Kuchera. That's how you pronounce it. But you have to look, and they're the only real production. So I feel like if you can isolate them and get more pressure on them, you're able to slow this team down.
And that's easier said than done.
Oh, of course.
Davidson, to this extent, has been running through that 3-headed monster of Bailey, Dirk, and Kuchera.
Yep.
Kuchera's shooting a little bit better from beyond the arc than you maybe thought coming into the season. Looking at the season numbers, he's about a 35% clip. He's been pretty sharp from beyond the arc. He's gotten open looks again. Davidson was able to run in transition. They were able to get open threes early. That helped them get out to this early lead. They started out on a 10-0 run, right? Fordham goes scoreless for the first 5 minutes, and they're never able to crawl back in this game. So, yes, majority of the scoring coming from Bailey and Kuchera. I mean, that's the scouting report on Davidson to a certain extent.
For sure.
And listen, it doesn't matter if you shut down the rest of the team. If you're not going to do
If you're not going to shut down the 2 guys who they're running the offense through, you're not going to win the game.
Well, listen, there's a world where Bailey and Kuchera go off, and you're able to shut down the rest of the team. You can win that game, but you
have to have the offense to back it up.
You need to do something offensively. 36 points allowed in the first half is not bad. I still think Fordham defensively is making strides. Now, I think this is a step back from the VCU game. There's a lot of missed assignments. They're getting confused. They're allowing open threes. They're allowing blow-bys. Fordham doesn't look great defensively, but 36 points in a half is nothing to sneeze at. This should be a single-digit margin of difference.
For sure. Going back to what Chaz was saying earlier in the broadcast, he said that a lot of that majority of the buckets coming in the first 10 minutes were through defensive lapses. So that shows a difference in how they locked it up more towards the end of the first half and forced 3 Davidson turnovers, which is promising for the second half, because if they can come out with the same energy at the end of the first half I feel like we can make a run, but it has to come with a backup of offense. The defense really tightened up towards the second half of that, the back end of that first half, but the offense still never really showed up.
It's going to need to start with a strong start to the second half, which is something that the Rams have struggled with all season long, and it feels like every game, whoever's on the broadcast, when you get to the first media timeout, it's, well, that wasn't the way that Fordham wanted to come out in the second half. And a lot of these games, they've been trailing in the second half. They might be close, but they've been trailing. And you go, all right, this is what they need. This, and this is what they need to do coming out of halftime. So today, right, it's, all right, we need to see them score the rock a little bit better. They score the rock, they can get back into this game. 16 points, big margin of difference, but still 20 minutes basketball.
It's still doable, yeah, for sure.
Very doable in college basketball, which feels like a big game of runs.
Yep.
Fordham hasn't proven yet that they can come out strong to start a second half, and it feels like it's going to be a talking point the rest of the season. Yeah. Be a nice thing to have in your back pocket of, hey, for the first time in a while, and what feels like a while,
we have energy.
We came out strong to start the second half. They're so good when they turn defense into offense.
The transition is how Fordham plays ball, and this is something that they haven't been able to do. They haven't been able to force turnovers and then run with the ball. They only forced 3 turnovers in this first half. I feel like if they can force more turnovers, we'll be able to produce in transition. And going back to what you're saying about coming out strong in the second half, my father and I were watching a game, and he was comparing the Rams in the beginning of the second half to the third quarter Knicks, because the Knicks always seem to struggle in the third quarter. So I feel like when the Knicks come out strong in the third quarter, they end up winning the game most of the time. So I feel like if we can come out strong in the beginning of the second half, we're able to produce.
Listen, I'm with that. You kind of got me on when you were talking about they started to play a little bit better defensively at the end of the first half, forcing a little bit of turnovers. Right, that's what probably would spark a strong second half performance. Obviously, you need better offense. You have Jackie, you got Medor, you got Tripp that are all kind of struggling from a production standpoint. Josh Rivera, the leading scorer with 5 points. Those came quick.
And
early
that number isn't good for a leading
half.
scorer.
It's a bad number for a leading scorer. Josh Rivera is another guy. You're not going to be picky at this stage of the game about who takes it over, but
we need someone.
You need baseline production from Johnson and Medor. You'd like to see Tripp get back to form and out of this rut that he's been in since conference play. And if you can get that boost off the bench from whether it's a Josh Rivera, whether it's a Matt Zona who's been heating up of late, either way, that's what's going to get you back in the game.
I agree, and that's going to do it for the halftime show here. I'm George Sugatakis, Lou Orlando sitting beside me. We're going to send it back to Nick and Chaz in North Carolina.
Hey guys, it's Jamir Tripp from Fordham Men's Basketball. You can catch all of our games on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page. And make sure to fill the hill this season as we celebrate 100 years in the Rose Hill Gym. WFUV is the home of Fordham basketball. Go Rams.
Welcome back to Belk Arena. We're a little under 4 minutes away from the start of the second half between Fordham and Davidson. Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams. It's the Wildcats with the 36-20 lead over the Rams at the halftime break. Chaz, for Fordham, looking at the stat sheet that we received at halftime, the one thing that stands out for me is the 1 of 15 from beyond the arc for Fordham. That's just 6.7%. Haven't shot the three great all year, but it's been an all-right weapon, an all-right tool that they've been able to use. But through the first half against VCU was ugly as well from beyond the arc, and Fordham have been shooting that three a lot, but just not getting it to fall, and as a result, they trail here by 16.
I'm mainly worried about the volume.
Yeah.
Three's not going. I guess you could shoot yourself out of a slump. You almost doubled the amount of shot attempts from the best three-point shooting team in your conference. Davidson, only 3 for 8 today. That's what's more concerning. And it's the fact that not a lot of those threes have been in the flow of the offense. You saw the one made from Josh Rivera early in the half, and it's been ice cold ever since.
And you feel like the size and the physicality of guys like Josh Rivera, Jameer Tripp, maybe even Ramad Dean would be, really useful against this Davidson team that, yes, they shoot the ball well, but protecting the interior, especially after the injury to Sean Logan, not something they do that well. But Fordham, like you mentioned, Chaz, have been settling for those outside shots. Some of them bad shots, yes, but some of them also open looks that just aren't falling. When that's happening, it's hard to string together any sort of consistency on the offensive end.
And honestly, what I want to happen is Fordham not to shoot more bad threes, but the reason they haven't been able to score down low is because of how well the Davidson defense has been able to collapse. Every time there's someone in the paint, there's at least 2 Wildcat white jerseys there in the restricted area with them. Whether it's Jameer Tripp, whether it's Josh Rivera, even Zach Riley has gotten tangled up a time or two. I want to see Fordham recognize that happening and have the process of the kick out, because that's been the issue all year for the Fordham Rams. If they can shoot a three at somewhat a consistent level, they can finish at somewhat a consistent level around the rim, but the drive and kick is lost to this Rams team because the flow of their natural offense is so reliant on perimeter exchanges and dribble handoffs. At some point, you just got to play basketball.
And that's amplified when you're watching them play against a team like Davidson, where all they do is kick it out.
Kick.
All they do is drive and kick. And that's a big reason why the Wildcats have this 36-20 lead over Fordham, as we're just about a minute away from the start of the second half. Chaz, against VCU, and then too many times in non-conference as well, Fordham would come out to start the second half, and the first couple minutes are really, really slow. Against VCU, that was kind of the difference, that quick 8-0 run in the first minute 30. VCU never relinquished that lead. Fordham down by 16 here, can't afford to be asleep to start the second half.
Right, you're talking about the most dangerous 4 minutes in Fordham basketball. Before the under 16 media, after the half, I would say this is a guesstimate. That is their worst scoring margin if you break the game up into 8 parts at all
4 minute segments
at the media timeouts. This has to be a strong defensive effort from the Fordham Rams if they want to hope and a prayer of getting back in this game. It's a 16-point deficit, but you got 20 minutes to make it up.
Starts with the stops on the defensive end to just try to get some momentum going for the offense. We're just about here, ready to start the second half from Belk Arena in North Carolina. And it will be Davidson basketball, or Fordham basketball rather. Zach Riley inbounds here to Jaffe Medor, and we're underway here in the second half. Medor in the front court here on this near side. Davidson in a bit of a zone look, the 1-3-1. Dirk in the high man, flipped over him by Dean, back to Medor, near side wing. Medor penetrates the zone in the corner. That's Johnson, his three, in and out. Just can't get it to go today, Jackie Johnson. 0 for 7 from beyond the arcs. Dirk in the other way for Davidson. For Loughnane, to the far side wing for Zach Laput. To Bailey. Facing away from the basket, kicks to Durkian. His long three wouldn't go. Timbila couldn't secure the rebound as the ball goes out of bounds on the baseline. That's Davidson basketball.
That's so brutal. You have to be able to grab a rebound there. Really unfortunate for the Rams, but I love the look and countering that 1-3-1.
Bailey spins on Dean off the inbounds with the left hand. That's perfect from Reed Bailey. Give him 13 points on the afternoon. 38-20 Davidson. 50 seconds gone by, second half. Jaffe Medor, handoff on the far side for Zach Riley. Abdu has it up top. Will drive now on Bailey. Gets to the baseline. Abdu trying to muscle his way inside. Kicks back to the corner for Riley. Medor, they'll swing it around the horn to Johnson straight away. Johnson drives, soars, couldn't finish with the right hand. Rebound loose, high up in the air. It's finally secured by Zach Laput. Into the front court for the Wildcats to Kuchera, near side wing. Jackie Johnson watching him. Pushed out to the far side for Durkin into the corner. They feed the post for Bailey. Bailey for the cutting Durkin. Good read by Johnson, got his hand on it. Last touch off of Durkin on the baseline, Fordham basketball.
That's a great head snap there from Jackie Johnson. You know, when you get a backdoor cutter, your head's got to snap. You still want to watch your guy. You put a hand up for the ball, gets his hand right in his cookie jar, unable to complete the pass. Great play.
Minute and a half gone by, second half. 18-point Davidson lead over the Rams. Dean has it up high, near side wing for Zach Riley. Back towards the middle for Abdu. Handoff on the far side, Jaffe Medor drives left, kicks out to Dean up high. Out to Johnson, far side wing. Riley again to the near corner for Dean. 6 seconds to shoot. Dean penetrates, gets inside, takes the contact, and a beautiful move with the left hand. 38-22 now, Davidson. Kuchera driving on Abdu, gets inside and puts it up and in with the left. Just that quick first step, too much for Abdu to handle. It's an 18-point Wildcat lead again. Johnson, straight away Dean. 17:45 to go, second half. Timbila driving on Laput. Gets high in the air, missed the shot. Grabs his own board, though. It'll come out up high for Riley. Swung to the near side wing for Jaffe Medor. Drives baseline, Medor, the push off, no call, and Jaffe gets the bucket with the right hand.
Way to use your strength. Florida, great play out of Medor.
40-24 Davidson. Laput up high for the Wildcats. Near side wing, this is Reed Bailey. Feeds the post for Kuchera against Zach Riley. Kuchera bodies his way in, blocked by Timbila, but they're going to call a foul. Keith Ergo with a sarcastic laugh and a clap towards the officials. I mean, that looked like a clean block from Abdu to me.
I can't even imagine the call there. Can't even imagine it.
It's going to be 2 calls coming for Connor Kuchera. The official tells Keith Ergo to back up a little bit.
And you got Les Jones in Keith Ergo's ear. They're jawing a little bit.
First free throw good from Kuchera. You know, we talked about, Chaz, St. Louis's three-headed monster of Swope, Jimerson, and Avila in that first game that they played against Fordham. For Davidson, you could argue that Bailey, Durkin, and Kuchera are also a three-headed monster.
Absolutely.
On offense, all 3 guys who are really effective. And different profiles, too, which makes them so difficult to guard. It's 42-24 Davidson. Ramad Dean with The Wildcats in that zone look. Riley pushed out to the far wing. Jaffe Medor knocks down the three. Count it, and a foul. Chance for a 4-point play for Jaffe Medor.
That could be the momentum swinger, Nick.
And Jaffe will have a chance to get the Rams back within 14 here with 16:55 to go in the second half.
Huge if he converts on this 4-point play.
Kuchera made both his free throws on the other end.
If you see a press out of this make.
Matt Zona has entered the game for Fordham. Abdu Timbila checks out. The Davidson crowd gets loud. A lot of families, a lot of kids here with Davidson still on winter break as Medor knocks down the free throw to complete the 4-point play. Fordham pressed with pressure here in the backcourt. Kuchera has it. Zach Riley on him. Kuchera will cross over, dribble right across the timeline. Kuchera now on the far side. Feeds the post for Bailey. Backing down on Zona. Reed Bailey will spin. Gets to the right hand. Puts it up. No good. Great defense from Zona. Dean the rebound. Medor pushing the other way. Medor for Zona. Couldn't get it to go off the glass. Might have been blocked from behind. Davidson back the other way through Durkin. Crossover on Riley. Out again here for Laputte. They'll feed the post for Bailey, near side wing. Driving his Locknane with the right hand, puts it up and in over Johnson. 44-28 Davidson, 16-13 to go second half. So Tripp and Rivera ready to enter for Fordham. Jackie Johnson has it far side wing. Johnson will take the long three. He finally knocks one down. Jackie Johnson, after missing his first 7 from beyond the arc, makes that one, and it's 44-31 Davidson. Under 16 to go second half. Durkin across the Davidson logo. Feeds the post on the far side for Bailey. Faces the basket against Zona. The help from Riley. Knocked it away. Last touch off Zach Riley. And that will be out of bounds on the baseline. Davidson will keep it as we head into our under 16 media timeout. It's Davidson 44, Fordham 31 with 15:40 to go in the second half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Welcome back inside Belk Arena. It's Davidson with a 44-31 lead over Fordham with 15:40 to go in the second half. I'm Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams as a fan just misses a full court putt.
That would have been electric.
For putt for dough, not sure how much dough, but would have been cool if he made that.
Would have been cool. Want to take a little bit of time to highlight the strategy out of Davidson, going for post entries when they see Matt Zona, someone not known for his ability to defend on the block. He's out there to shoot. He's out there to lead. He's out there to talk. Definitely looking, if we see Matt Zona in the lineup, more isolation plays for Reed Bailey on the block. But great double there from Zach Riley to force the deflection. Still going to be Wildcat ball. Great play all around.
And in that sequence before that, Chaz, they got Bailey in the ISO against Zona one-on-one, and he was able to force the miss.
Great.
Able to hold his own, but that's going to be a key matchup.
For sure.
We're going to have to be really disciplined about when they do help, because when you got guys like Durkin on the perimeter, that kickout's going to come in a flash.
Absolutely. But Bailey, I think, after those two misses, he's the third leading scorer in the A-10. I get to talk about a little bit about a Hooper's mentality. I told you he's the kind of guy that goes out, gets his, one of the only ones on this team that does that. I think he's going to be in his own head a little bit, maybe looking to make some more sloppy mistakes on the block because he wants to get his get back on a guy that's not known for defending, that's clamped him up in these last two possessions.
Bailey still has 15 points on the afternoon on 6 of 13 from the field. It's a guy who shoots over 50% from the field for the season. It will be Davidson to inbound underneath in the front court. They lead Fordham by 13 with 15:40 to go in the second half. Inbound here to Bailey at the free throw line, backing down on Tripp, kicks out to the perimeter. Kuchera driving on Mador with the right hand, in and out. Tip try wouldn't go. Third attempt wouldn't go either. Jameer Tripp clears up with the rebound. Tripp, handoff on the far side for Rivera. Mador to Jackie Johnson, near side wing. Drives inside. Jackie protecting the ball and gets it to go with the left hand. Strong move from Jackie Johnson. 5 quick points for him. And Fordham back within 11 with 15:10 to go, second half. Durkin, far side wing, feeds down low. Hunter Adams spins and gets the hook shot to go with the right hand. Jackie Johnson on the far side for Zona. Handoff up high for Jaffe Mador. Top of the key, he'll retreat to the perimeter. Tripp feeds down low for Zona. Open is Mador. He'll launch the three. Can't quite get the friendly roll. It wouldn't go. Rivera tried for the rebound, but it'll come here to Hunter Adams. That ball was on the rim for an eternity. Jaffe just can't get the roll. Kuchera in the front court for Davidson. Reed Bailey backing down on Zona. Rivera there with the double team. Bailey lost it. Fordham with the double team forced the steal. Mador the other way. Open is Johnson. Couldn't quite corral the pass. He does anyway and connects on the triple. Jackie Johnson makes it a 10-point game with 14:18 to go in the second half.
Lou Orlando calls him a microwave for a reason. Jackie's heating up.
Kuchera on the near side wing for Davidson. Up high for Bailey. Will drive. Bailey going left, got fouled in the lane. Mador was there, so was Zona. But they're not making it easy on Reed Bailey as he tries to get inside.
Foul there on the help defender. Unfortunate. Adam Mador, again, you can't make it easy for him. I told you he's going to try to get his get back. He's the real hooper on this team. He's the guy that's able to get his, again, third leading scorer in the A-10. You got to think about his mentality. They're up 6. They're up by a comfortable margin. He thinks he's got the room to really work and get his. He's out there playing for the name on the back while Fordham's playing for the name on the front.
First free throw good from Bailey. Takes him up to 16. Fordham outscoring Davidson 16-11 so far in this second half. They still trail in the game by 11. Second shot from Bailey is good as well. 2 for 2 trip from him. That makes it a 48-36 Davidson lead with 14:04 to go in the second half. The 5 for Fordham is Dean, Mador, Rivera, Zona, and Johnson. As they'll inbound in the backcourt, Dean into Mador. Able to spin across the timeline, evading Durkin. Rivera, near side wing, up high for Ramad Dean. Jackie Johnson has it now. Matt Zona sets the screen. Johnson looking to drive. Almost lost his footing. Hands off for Rivera. Gets to the lane. Rivera blocked away by Reed Bailey. And kept alive on the baseline by Bobby Durkin. Bailey up ahead for Davidson. He can do it all. Blooms to Bailey on the near side. Baseline, got double team, lost it off his knee. That's going to be a turnover on Reed Bailey. That's 3 turnovers for Reed.
In a row for Reed Bailey. Reed Bailey struggling out there on the offensive end. Fordham, again, they know he's the only isolation player out there. If they can stop him and close out on shooters effectively, this is a much different ball game.
Mador in the backcourt for Fordham will dribble the ball ahead. 13.5 to go second half. 12-point Davidson Wildcat lead. Matt Zona the high screen. Mador on the near side wing. Drives right. Mador the feed inside for Zona. Takes the contact and finishes at the rim. Huge play from Matt Zona. And with the 3-point play can get Fordham back within single digits.
Jaffe Mador, the facilitator. Great play all around. He is under the radar, slowly climbing back into the good graces of the Fordham faithful. A lot of the times, Jaffe Mador criticized bad offensive shooting splits his whole career, all the way back to UTSA, all the way back to playing high school ball in Florida. But the facilitating ability out of Jaffe Mador has been fantastic for the Fordham Rams. It's really a bright spot in this losing streak.
Zona completes the 3-point play. It's a 48-39 Davidson lead with 13:10 to go second half. Bobby Durkin on the far side wing for Davidson. Screen up high from Bailey, who will roll to the basket. Wide open in the corner. The shot no good from Hunter Adam. Johnson the rebound. He'll go back the other way for the Rams. Johnson penetrates. Rivera cuts. Johnson will feed back to the perimeter from Mador. Medor inside, open is Zona. He finishes again with the left. Matt Zona with 5 quick points. Fordham have cut this lead down to 7. It's 48-41 Davidson with 12:47 to go in the second half.
This is college basketball for the first time, Nick Guzman. For the first time, I'm seeing some fight from the Fordham Rams in conference play. I'm seeing some fight out of the guys from the Bronx. Love to see it for the Ram faithful.
Fordham able to attack underneath, and with 12:47 to go in the second half, it's 48-41 Davidson. Chaz, Fordham in this second half outscoring the Wildcats 21-12. They were down 16 heading into the break, but the offense looks so much smoother, able to attack on the inside.
Jaffe Medor, the facilitator, Matt Zona, the scorer. This is the Fordham Rams we were promised. This is conference play. This is opening up. This is when it all goes on the line. I don't care about your non-con. I don't care that you went 8-5. The second December 31st hit, you started at 0-0. They're using this as the under 12 media timeout. The great play from the Fordham Rams in this little run needs to continue, though. We know that this Fordham Rams team has known to come out sluggish from stoppages, sluggish from timeouts, from halftime breaks. That cannot happen here. All the momentum in the world on their side. They're making Davidson question their offense. Reed Bailey has to be in his own head at an astounding level right now because he can't get anything going, and he hasn't had that happen all year.
Davidson this season have been a little bit of a poor second half team. There's been some times where they've had leads in the first half and let them slip. That wasn't the case in their only A-10 win this season last week against Duquesne. They were down in the first half, and a big second half push brought them back to take them over the edge against the Dukes. But for Fordham, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. You were down 16 in the first half. Reality is now you're down 7 with 12:47 to go in the second half, and you feel like all the momentum is on your side. And like you mentioned, Chad, it's so crucial that level of focus is maintained after this timeout, no matter what Matt McKillop is drawing up on the other end.
Exactly. You know he's going to switch things up. I don't know if we'll see as many Reed Bailey isolations. We're probably going to see a lot more three-pointers taken in the second half. Only 2 for the Wildcats, and they're the most efficient three-point shooting team in the Atlantic 10.
Coming out of this Davidson timeout, it'll be their ball to inbound in the backcourt. That's how quickly things can change. It was that Hunter Adam wide open in the corner, missed that 3 that led to those 5 quick points for Fordham the other way. And it will be LaPut to inbound underneath. Josh Rivera providing the ball pressure. All 5 Fordham Rams providing pressure in the backcourt. LaPut trying to inbound, gets it into Bailey, and the Rams will retreat. So Reed Bailey will dribble the ball ahead. Zona ready for him. Straight away is Kuchera. Out to the far side for LaPut. Still on the perimeter, coming around the screen is Durkin. Dean right there to close. Rivera comes for the double on Bailey. Durkin, the swing, open for 3 is good. Beautiful shot from Roberts. Blooms, that's how you deal with the double team, by finding the open man, and Blooms connects on the triple. Back to a 10-point Davidson lead. Jackie Johnson, step back 3, off front rim and out. Bailey the rebound. Durkin the other way for the Wildcats. Dean watching him up high. Kuchera on the far side wing. Circling out of his near side. Kuchera will drive on Jaffe Medor. The layup couldn't get the roll. Dean the rebound, ahead for Medor. On the far side wing. Medor looking to make something happen. He'll drive to the lane, gets it to Johnson. He'll try another 3, in and out. Zona bats the rebound out to Medor. Fordham keep the possession alive. Medor will drive. Medor pulls up from mid-range, in and out again. 2 open looks on that possession. The Rams can't get him to go. Davidson the rebound. LaPut has it. To Durkin, the far wing 3, rattles in and out. Rivera fighting for the board. Dean saved it to Josh. Rivera to Johnson across the timeline. Still a 10-point game. Johnson will try again from deep, off front rim, and out. So Jackie, the shooting touch, not quite there today. And a quick 3 on that possession, maybe not a good shot for the Rams. 11:05 to go second half, the 10-point Davidson lead. Reed Bailey has it, top of the key against Matt Zona. Bailey to Blooms, with Medor watching him. Near side wing Kuchera. The feed to the right elbow, this is Durkin. Backing down on Josh Rivera in the lane. Durkin spins with the right hand. Can't get the hook shot to go, but Josh Rivera gets called for the foul. with 10:51 to go in the second half. This will take us to our under 12 media timeout. Davidson 51, Fordham 41. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Well, we'll keep you up to date with the A10 slate. The UMass George Mason game getting a little bit closer. George Mason 44, UMass 37. That's with 15:52 left in the second half. St. Joe's and Loyola Chicago underway. That was a 3 p.m. tip. St. Joe's up 17-7. That's a battle between two 10-win teams in the A10. Earlier today, Bonaventure fell to LaSalle 83-82. Deuce Jones banked a contested three in at the buzzer as LaSalle upsets St. Bonaventure and sinks them to 14-3 on the season. For Duke, Cooper Flagg put up 40 points in an 86-78 win over Notre Dame. Speaking of Notre Dame, the stage is set for the College Football Playoff National Championship. Ohio State beat Texas 28-14 in the semifinal last night. So it's the championship. It's the 7 seed versus the 8 seed, Notre Dame and Ohio State in Atlanta on Monday, January 20th. Of course, NFL playoffs start today. It all begins with Texans-Chargers at 4:30. We'll take a deeper dive at the under 4 media timeout. With the one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Lou Orlando.
Welcome back to Belk Arena here in Davidson, North Carolina. The Wildcats with a 51-41 lead over the Fordham Rams with 10:51 to go in the second half. Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams. And Chaz, we talked about how after Davidson called that last time out with the lead cut to 7, needing to right the ship, and Fordham needed to keep the momentum going. Some misses on makeable shots on the offensive end from Jackie Johnson and Jaffe Medora, made 3 from Roberts Blooms for Davidson, and that leads back up to 10.
Absolutely. The way that the Fordham Rams came out swinging, it wasn't the momentum stopper that it has been, coming out. Like, they haven't just come to a crashing halt. They're still causing a lot of misses. That miscommunication on the 3-point shot was brutal, though. Brutal. 10-point lead. We got Durkin at the line. Potentially a 12-point lead for the Wildcats. Rams have to step it up defensively.
First free throws of the day coming for Bobby Durkin, averaging just under 15 points a game, but his 3-point shooting percentage on the season up close to 46% as he makes the first free throw, and that's with 7 attempts a game.
Yeah, he jacks up threes.
But today, only 1 of 6 and 2 of 7 from the field for just 6 points, so Fordham have been able to contain him. Not so much Connor Kuchera, who has 18 points to lead the way for the Wildcats. 2-for-2 trip here for Durkin, the lead back up to 12 for Davidson.
Jackie Johnson 2 for 12 from beyond the arc.
And Jackie Johnson checks out of the game for Fordham. Tripp, Medor, Dean, Rivera, and Timbila, the 5 for the Rams. Timbila into the front court for Rivera. A zone look for Davidson. Jaffe Medor's open for 3, and he buries it. Huge shot for Jaffe Medor to get the lead back to 9.
He's having a game.
The deficit back down to 9, I should say. Jaffe Medor with Kuchera has it. Up high here for Durkin. Pushed out to the far wing for Zach Laput. Rivera watching him. Laput to this near side wing for Durkin. No, Durkin gets to his spot just by the elbow and knocks it down from mid-range. Bobby Durkin cash from that spot. Lead back up to 11 for Davidson. We're halfway through the second half. Medor, near side wing. High screen from Timbila. Straight away Ramad Dean. Out to the far wing for Tripp. Bounce pass into the post for Timbila. Looking for an option. Timbila spins. Hook shot with the right hand. Wouldn't go. No shot, no good. Rebound Davidson, and a foul called on Josh Rivera.
Yeah, Abdu spinning into the double and still not able to find the open man. It's been a struggle for him all year, all of conference play. Abdu normally getting those isolation plays on the block. He's doubled every time and has yet to be able to find open man on the perimeter. It's got to work out that way.
Abdu's played just 9 minutes in this game, 0 for 3 from the field. He's grabbed 2 rebounds, but 3 fouls and a turnover. Another not a great performance from Abdu. Locknane. Straight away against Medor, to Durkin in the lane, to the far corner, fakes the 3, the drive from Laput, dribbled it off his knee and out of bounds on the baseline. Fordham basketball.
Those kind of mental mistakes are the ones you have to capitalize on the part of the Rams.
Fordham down 11 here with 9:32 to go, second half, trying for their first Atlantic 10 win of the season. They currently sit at 0-3. They've got a hill to climb here, more than halfway through the second half. Dean straight away. Handoff for Medor. Timbila with the screen for Dean. On the far side, handoff for Tripp. Looking to get inside. Tripp will drive. He spins. Beautiful move from Tripp. Couldn't finish at the rim. Timbila's tip goes right to Lochrain, and Davidson back the other way. Laputte inside. Wide open is Reed. Bailey gets up and over Dean with the finish with the left hand. 57-44 Davidson. 8:52 to go, second half. Jaffe Medor on the far wing. Medor towards the middle. Feeds out for Tripp in front of the Fordham bench. Screen from Timbila. Tripp straight away for Rivera. Down low, low block for Dean against Laputte. Dean trying to use that body. The wild reverse wouldn't go. Rebound loose. Last touch off of Laputte as Timbila went up for it too. It will be Fordham basketball underneath.
Rams have to find something here offensively. This possession is everything. Keep it to 10.
8:28 to go, second half. 57-44 Davidson lead. Joe Hurlburt back in the game. Reed Bailey will take a seat on the bench. This is where you have to capitalize with Bailey out of the game.
So you're not worried about the isolation anymore. Work on the shooters.
Dean flips up for Medor. There's going to be a foul on the entry pass. And it goes against Blooms. Fordham will inbound again underneath the basket.
Love to see that.
4 team fouls for Fordham, 3 for Davidson. Dean to inbound. Flips up for Medor. Has it top of the key. Swung to the near side wing, Jameer Tripp. Pushed out to the far side for Medor. 13 for the Rams to shoot. Medor gets inside. The fake with the left hand. Great move again from Jaffe Medor. It's 57-46 Davidson. Lead back down to 11 with 8:10 to go, second half. Jaffe, Fordham's leading scorer with 15 points. The drive from Lochrain. Great help from Timbila. The rebound, though, wouldn't go. Still, it's loose. Jaffe Medor comes up with it. He'll lead the break the other way. Lob ahead for Rivera. Able to save it, and then he throws it into the Fordham bench. With 7:54 to go in the second half, that will take us to our under 8 media timeout. The score is 57. Davidson 57, Fordham 46. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're 2 of your hosts for NFL Friday, WFUV Sports' exclusive NFL podcast.
From breaking down the weekly slate to fantasy football pickups, we've got you covered on all things around the NFL.
Stay tuned for our hosts' weekly picks as they compete against each other all season long.
Football is here, and so is NFL Friday.
Back here at Belk Arena, Nick Guzman alongside Chaz McAdams with 7:54 to go in the second half. It's Davidson with the 57-46 lead over Fordham. And Chaz, the Rams have definitely shown fight in this second half. They were able to get that lead down to 7 just with 12 minutes to go. But this last 4 or 5 minute stretch, the offense has dried up in a big way for the Rams. And as such, Davidson able to stretch that lead back out to 11.
Yeah, Davidson capitalizing on Fordham's mistakes. Fordham's got to take a page out of their book. Look at the turnovers that Davidson's giving them. Again, Bailey out of the game. You have to capitalize here. This would be massive for the Rams. Great ability from Jaffe Medor. It's been his game for the Rams. Able to wrangle that last rebound. Looking for the lob to Rivera. Rivera just tossing it out of bounds. Killing momentum for the Rams.
I feel like if you're Fordham at this point, you got to ride the hot hand and let the ball be in the hands of Jaffe Medor to either shoot or make something happen with his passing ability. He's got 15 points on 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 assists also in 30 minutes of action.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, I said it's been his game. You have to let him work, especially Jackie, someone not used to that, has to defer to Medor. Let him find you to get open. You can You can run on the catch and shoot if need be. Let Medor find you.
Fordham, you feel like they need to be able to close this deficit now with under 8 to go in the second half. Time is of the essence here with Davidson up by 11. It will be their basketball. They'll inbound in front of the Fordham bench. The Rams looking to apply some backcourt pressure here. Reed Bailey still out of the game. It's Joe Hurlburt providing the size at the 5. Locknane trying to cross the timeline against Rivera. That's not easy. He does, though. Swung out to the far side for Durkin. Down low. Blocked away by Ramad Dean. A monster swat from Ramad. It'll come back out for Blooms, who cans the 3 anyway. What a huge momentum swing in favor of the Wildcats. They go back up by 14 after the 3. Dean got fouled on the floor, it looks like, as he drove to the basket. But Dean with a highlight reel block on Hurlburt, but just Fordham out of position after the ricochet, and it comes right to Blooms, who cans the triple.
Have to be able, you know where the shooters are. And Bailey's back in the game. This is not the run that you needed with Reed Bailey out of the game.
Davidson by 14, 7:27 to go second half. Jaffe Medor inbounds underneath. Up to Josh Rivera, top of the key. He'll drive. Rivera, hop step, right hand, wouldn't go. He got fouled. 2 shots coming for Josh Rivera. Fans oohing and awing, but that's a legal basketball move. That's just a jump step.
Yeah, I think they're oohing and awing at the foul call, which is also absurd.
But Rivera will shoot 2 free throws. Still under 50% from the line on the season. In the empty arena against VCU was 4 for 4 and looked like it was a perfect stroke. But some big shots here for Josh with Fordham down by 14. First free throw is too strong. Clanked off the backboard and then off the rim and out.
Tough.
Josh has been a spark plug at times for Fordham this season, just under 10 points per game for him. He's a guy who sometimes on offense can get that tunnel vision, just putting his head down and driving to the lane. Takes the contact, and then this is where he has to be able to finish at the line.
Especially he's so physical. Him not being a reliable free throw shooter is terrible for the Rams.
Second free throw, no good as well. Zona got the board. Beautiful play from Matt Zona. Jaffe Medor's 3 is short. Still it's loose, and it'll finally come here to Connor Kuchera. Zona swatted that O-board off the glass back out to the perimeter. LaPut has it up high for Davidson. Dean watching him. LaPut to Kuchera coming around the screen. Down low for Bailey. He's doubled in the post through Zona and Rivera. The double up high against Kuchera. Blooms to the corner. Durkin thought about a 3. He'll think better of it. Durkin drives, gets inside, hung up in the air. Zach Riley gets called for the foul. Coach Ergo arguing that Zach went straight up with both hands on that defensive play. It'll be a foul called on the New Zealander. And Bobby Durkin, or Mike Locknane, rather. It's Locknane who made that move to the lane. And Locknane will shoot 2.
That almost looked like dummy defense there. That looks like a coach demonstrating how to play good hands-up defense, and you call it a foul. Zach Riley jumping backwards. Lockney putting his shoulder and jumping into him in the air. Also a late call. The ball was coming off the rim by the time it was made. Unfortunate officiating. Unfortunate.
First free throw is no good from Locknane.
His hands were behind his ears. His shoulders were behind his ears, and they're calling over the top. That's ridiculous.
Second free throw is no good as well. The rebound needs to be grabbed, and it is by Zach Riley. So Locknane goes 0 for 2. Some would say ball does not lie, Chaz. Up high, this is Jaffe Medor for the Rams. To this near side wing. 6:40 to go second half. Bounce pass up high for Matt Zona. Rivera, far side wing, will try the triple and bury it. Huge shot from Josh Rivera. Fordham cuts the lead down to 11. 6:25 to go second half. Blooms across the timeline for Davidson. Up high for Reed Bailey. Handoff for Locknane. LaPut fakes the 3. He'll drive. LaPut kicks to the far corner. That's a 3. In and out. Rivera grabs the rebound for the Rams. Zona up ahead for Medor. Medor feeds down low. Dean couldn't quite handle it. Pass was up over his head. He bobbled it for a moment, and Davidson with the steal. The lob for Bailey. Reed Bailey catches the alley-oop and throws it down. Davidson leads by 13 with 5:49 to go second half, and Keith Ergo calls timeout.
Irate Keith Ergo calls a timeout. not the pass you make to Ramad there. Got to put it right in his hands. Even though he got the correct seal, he's right off of the defense, and Fordham's going to take a full timeout here. They have to get it together if they have a hope and a prayer of getting into this game.
And now it's crunch time with 5:48 to go in the second half. Davidson 62, Fordham 49. Chaz, we'll keep it here for this timeout.
Keep it here for the timeout. There's a definite sense of dread coming for the Fordham Rams that you don't like to see. 13 points, 5:48 is a tall order, but momentum has to get on their side soon. Those plays where you cause the great turnovers, where you make the right play, and you have to execute on the offensive end.
And they were able to get that lead back within 7 with about 12 and a half minutes to go in this second half. Now it's Davidson by 13 with 5:48 to go in the second half. This last run for the Wildcats capped off by the lob from half court towards Reed Bailey. What a pass from Connor Kashera. 18 points for him on 7 of 13 shooting with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Bailey up to 21 points. And Davidson really, they haven't had their way with this Fordham offense. They've done what they've had to do considering how cold Fordham was on the offensive end in the first half.
Absolutely, and one thing on the part of Coach Keith Ergo, I don't know if you can sub out Jaffe. That wasn't an objective mistake on Jaffe. Not telling anyone how to do their job, but you have to acknowledge that he is the reason you're still in this game. His passing ability, his efficiency from beyond the arc. Josh Rivera hitting a big 3 as well. You have to keep Jaffe and no Jaffe out there for the Rams.
Medor is the Ram leading scorer tonight with 15, or this afternoon rather, with 15 points on 5 of 10 shooting. Jackie Johnson on the floor here again for the Rams with 12 points on an inefficient 5 of 16 shooting. Fordham basketball in the front court, right in front of their bench. Coming out of this timeout. 2 timeouts remaining for each team, 5 fouls recorded for both teams. 5:48 to go second half. Josh Rivera to inbound. Needs an option, goes all the way to Jackie Johnson in the backcourt. Johnson, handoff for Rivera. Off of Zona's shoe, and the ball hits the timeline. That's going to be a backcourt violation on the Rams. Just a simple pass on the outside and an unforced error.
And that's a nail in the coffin. I don't know if it's the nail in the coffin, but if it's crunch time, 5:39 left, you're down 13, and you're making plays like that, your head's not in it.
After that timeout, it's Medor out, Riley out, Tripp in, Johnson in. And it will be Davidson basketball following the Fordham backcourt violation. Bobby Durkin will inbound into the front court. Durkin gets it in up high here for Kuchera. Kuchera to Durkin on the far wing, feeds the post for Bailey. The help comes from Rivera. Bailey doubled, trying to pass out of it. Johnson with the steal. Jackie Johnson the other way. Drives left, took a bump. Wild shot, gets the roll. Huge roll there for Jackie Johnson. It's an 11-point Davidson lead with 5:15 to go second half. Kuchera. Right away for Reed Bailey. Push to the near side wing. This is Durkin. Johnson on him, got his hands in there. Durkin around him from the elbow, too strong. Rivera skies up for the board. Jackie Johnson the other way for Fordham, under 5 to go second half. There's going to be a run. It has to happen now for the Rams. Johnson drives, left hand, off the glass, wouldn't go. Dean the rebound, back up with the left hand, and a finish from Ramad Dean. 9-point Davidson lead.
Single digits, this is huge. Defense is going to ride here.
4:39 to go second half. Fordham in need of stops. LaPut up high for Davidson. For Bailey, right elbow against Zona. Bailey drives, Zona stays with him. Bailey hangs, couldn't get it to go, tripped the rebound. Beautiful one-on-one defense from Zona. Rivera the other way for Fordham. Straight away Johnson, feeds down low for Dean. Dean spins in the post. Dean fighting his way, couldn't get the roll. Shot wouldn't go, 4:10 to go second half. Davidson the rebound through Bailey. Kuchera has it up high for Davidson. 4:05 to go second half. It's a 9-point Wildcat lead. Bailey for LaPut up high. LaPut drives right by Tripp, got him in the air on the shot fake, and LaPut puts it up and in. A little bit over-eager there from Jameer Tripp defensively. And it's back to an 11-point Davidson lead. 3:50 to go second half. Dean for Tripp. Zona straight away. Johnson on the far side wing. Rivera has it now. Fordham needed option here. Trip to the corner, off his foot, and out of bounds on the sideline. Just a nightmare sequence from Jameer Tripp. Got blown by on the defensive end, and then on offense dribbles the ball off his foot. With 3:33 to go in the second half, we've reached our under 4 media timeout. It's Davidson 64, Fordham 53. You're listening, or we'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios, actually, for the one-on-one scoreboard with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
One last check-in with the A10 slate. UMass and George Mason. Final 9 minutes here. George Mason up 55-47. St. Joe's a 20-plus point lead over Loyola Chicago, 44-21. That one's still in the first half. And the A10 slate closes tonight. Richmond and Rhode Island at 6 p.m. on ESPN+. The NFL wildcard round starts today. It's 2 AFC games. Number 4 seeded Texans against the number 5 seed Chargers at 4:30. And at night, number 3 Baltimore Ravens hosting the number 6 Pittsburgh Steelers. That's an exciting AFC North matchup at 8 p.m. Bills, Broncos, Packers, Eagles, Commanders, Bucks tomorrow. Rams, Vikings on Monday. That game's moved to Phoenix, Arizona due to the fires in LA. You can follow along the entirety of this playoff stretch on NFL Friday. We have the postseason version of our NFL Friday Pick'em segment. 5 hosts left standing. There will only be 2 left standing by the Super Bowl. Lots of fun. Make sure to catch NFL Friday wherever podcasts are found. Last time for me with the one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Lou Orlando.
Thanks, Lou. We're back at Belk Arena. Nick Guzman here alongside Chaz McAdams. Crunch time here in the second half. 3:33 to go with Davidson on top, 64-53 over Fordham. Rams able to cut that lead to single digits a couple minutes ago, but missed opportunity on one end defensively from Jameer Tripp, and then he turns the ball over the other end as well. It'll be Davidson basketball as Fordham's momentum kind of stopped here as we've hit the under 4 media timeout. But the Rams down by 11 with 3:33. Going to need a miracle here down the stretch. We'll see what lineup they go with, and it looks like Jaffe Medor will check back into the game for Jameer Tripp after those 2 mistakes.
A pair of low passes out of Josh Rivera, too, is going to go under the radar for those Fordham Rams.
So 3:33 to go in the second half. Davidson will inbound in the backcourt through Connor Kachera. Kachera into Durkin. Medor watching him. Fordham needs stops. They need him quickly on the defensive end. Durkin up high. Medor deflected it. It'll come still to Bailey on the far wing. Handoff up high for Kachera. Kachera for Durkin. The feed down low to Bailey, who had the size advantage over Medor. The Rams got mixed up defensively. Easy finish for Reed Bailey. Make it a 66-53 Davidson lead. 3:05 to go second half. Jaffe Medor at the Davidson College logo. Medor to Johnson straight away. He'll launch the 3 and bury it. Huge shot there from Jackie Johnson to get it back to 10 with 2:51 to go in the second half. But the clock is against Fordham here, down by 10.
Can't have a Wildcat score.
Kachera across the timeline against Johnson, who went for the steal. Kachera drives inside for Bailey. LaPut is open for 3. That's short, but an offensive rebound for Connor Kachera, who's been all over the place this afternoon, and that might be the dagger on the putback. 68-56 Davidson, 2:22 to go second half.
Need quick scores here.
Medor, screen up high from Zona. Medor, behind the back in the lane. Straight away Rivera, the fadeaway triple, off front rim and out. Reed Bailey secures the rebound, and that might just about do it here with 2:05 to go in the second half. Davidson up by 12. Kachera against Medor. Straight away, this is LaPut. Bailey the screen, LaPut the drive on Dean. LaPut, contact as he went up with it, and LaPut will go to the free throw line.
And if you want to hope here, it's got to be quick threes going up You got to hit them at an efficient clip. You also need not just turnovers, you need turnovers in the backcourt. You have to use your press to your advantage. And these have to break.
First and foremost for LaPut.
Yeah.
With 1:52 to go in the second half, Davidson up by 12. First free throw from LaPut is no good. Zach LaPut, the fifth-year transfer, Division II transfer from Bentley University, shooting 65% from the line this year. He was a star for Division II Bentley, averaging up towards 18 points per game for them. Now making it happen in Division I as well. Second shot from LaPut is again too strong. Rebound by Abdu. It's a 12-point game with 1:50 to go in the second half. Medor crosses the timeline, and Keith Ergo will call a timeout. Or what's the call here? Something on the floor. Not sure why the whistle was blown. Clock issue. You're right, Chaz. So no timeout from Fordham. They still have 2 remaining, as does Davidson.
You don't get a fast break opportunity? That is...
The referee over by the scorer's table trying to get this issue resolved.
I wonder where the clock...
Fordham had numbers in this.
I wonder where the clock operator went to college. I wonder.
Currently,
curious. I'm just asking questions.
I think that's a fair
just
question to
questions
ask.
Here.
And it seems like they've got the issue resolved, so Rivera will inbound in the front court for the Rams. And now Davidson have their defense set up. They get it into Medor, who can cross the timeline. 1:45 to go second half. Fordham down by 12. Need to make something happen here with Jaffe. He drives, left hand, takes the contact, and gets the roll.
This is big. This free throw's big. Again, it's backcourt turnovers.
Back to a 10-point game, 68-58 in favor of Davidson. Jaffe Medor will go to the free throw line for one more, make it 17 points for him.
Yeah, Jaffe Medor definitely has to get some stuff going on right now. 1 minute, 40 seconds left. Again, quick scores. You can't let Davidson be comfortable with the basketball for a second. Take some risks defensively. Don't be reserved at all. Go for the turnover. This is the one time where you go for the ball, not the man.
As Ryan Pettis moves towards the scorer's table, ready to check into the game. Free throw from Medor is good. Give it 18 points for Jaffe to go with 5 assists.
Call it offense, defense.
Another fine offensive effort from him. 9-point Davidson lead with 1:40 to go in the second half. Pettis in for Johnson, into Kuchera. He's trapped in the corner. Kuchera lost his balance. Still a double team. They're able to get it ahead to Lochnan. He crosses the timeline. Pettis defending him. On the far side wing, Kuchera. Rivera hassling him. 15 on the shot clock, 1:22 on the game clock. Kuchera driving on Abdu at the free throw line. He'll retreat again. That's going to be a 3, too strong. No good from LaPut. Fordham still down by 9 here. Medor into the front court. Screen from Pettis. Jaffe driving baseline, gets inside. Medor finishes up at the rim. It's a 7-point game with 1:05 to go in the second half. Timeout called by Keith Ergo.
This is massive here. Again, you have to rely on your press. You have to trust it. It's only a 20. They're not taking a full. Massive play here defensively for the Rams. It has to be turnovers in the backcourt. You can't let it cross the timeline.
68-61 Davidson, 1:05 to go in the second half. 1 timeout remaining for Fordham, 2 for Davidson. Fordham at the point where they need not just stops, but preferably some steals here.
And Jaffe Medor is in the business of making games that look out of reach.
Manhattan.
Right into reach. Manhattan. We were up there in Scarsdale, me and New Guzman. Got a chance to look at the Jaspers blow a 16-point lead after and it was 4 threes from Jaffe Medor that made it a 1-possession game, which was too little, too late. Hopefully, it's not the same story here.
You hope it's not too little, too late for the Rams here. If it is, they drop to 0-4 in conference. Jazz 1-3 is a whole lot different than 0-4. Jackie Johnson into the game for the Rams. It's going to be Rivera, Johnson, Medor, Pettis, and Dean. That's the 5 for the Rams. Durkin trying to inbound on the baseline into Kuchera. Back to Bobby Durkin. Durkin is fouled by Jackie Johnson. Keith Ergo is furious with, looks like Jaffe Medor. Maybe for Ware's position on that defensive sequence. It'll be 1-1 coming at the free throw line.
Ergo upset at the guy that's kept him in this game, his captain.
You know, Ergo has said in the past he's probably harder on Jaffe than he is on anybody, but 20 points for him on 7 of 12 shooting. Pettis out, Timbila in. It'll be a one-on-one opportunity for Bobby Durkin. 85% from the line on the year, 2 for 2 on the day. And this is the spot where you just got to pray for a miss.
We got it earlier.
102 on the game clock with Davidson up by 7. Not sure what we're standing around here for. Looks like Connor Kachera might have a uniform malfunction over towards the Davidson bench.
Weird ref day. I'll call it a weird ref day.
But you like making Durkin wait maybe longer than he would have.
Or I want him more tired when he's shooting the free throws.
You can look at things both ways.
Yeah, I'm just a pessimist.
1-1 for Durkin. Makes the front half. 69-61 Davidson. It's an off day for Durkin shooting the ball. We mentioned how efficient he was from beyond the arc this season at 45% coming in. 1 of 6 from beyond the arc today. But can make it a 9-point lead here, and he does. 2 for 2 trip for Bobby Durkin. 70-61 Davidson. 1:02 on the clock in the second half.
Got to be threes. You got to get over the timeline fast.
Got to be threes, got to be fast. Jaffe Medor across the timeline. Under a minute to play here in Davidson. Medor drives, gets to the lane, kicks to the corner. Dean's open for 3. He rushed it. The shot no good. Rebound by Blooms. Underneath, he's fouled. That's the look you wanted for Ahmad Dean. Just looked like he tried to get that shot off super quickly and never got into his motion.
And a great pass from Jaffe Medor as well. Collapsing.
Davidson fan heckling Ahmad Dean for shooting. He's actually up over 40%.
Some chirps from the Davidson fans out of the most efficient three-point shooter from the Fordham Rams.
49.1 to go on the game clock. It's 70-61 in favor of Davidson. 1-1 coming here for Roberts Blooms, the Latvian. Blooms, free throw no good. Lifeline for the Rams. Dean ahead for Johnson. They trail by 9, 45 to go. Need to go fast here. Johnson will heave a Hail Mary triple, and he got it to go. It's a 6-point game with 41 seconds to go. Durkin in the backcourt. Fordham in their full court press. Durkin into Blooms. He's doubled. They get the steal. Medor has it, and he's fouled. 1-1 coming for Jaffe Medor. 38.4 on the game clock. Fordham down by 6, and 2 huge free throws coming for Jaffe Medor as they get the steal.
Florida's finest at the charity stripe. You love to see him in a game situation like this. And you love the playmaking out of Jaffe Medor, the defense, the ability to work in the press. Everyone has to communicate.
1-1 here for Jaffe Medor. 70-64 Davidson. 38.4 seconds to go in the second half. Just 1 timeout remaining for the Rams. Fordham trying to come all the way back from down 16 at the halftime break. Medor doesn't get the roll on the free throw. It toilet bowls around and out, and it's been that kind of season for the Fordham Rams so far this year.
Oh.
Davidson the rebound. They get fouled. They'll shoot free throws on the other end.
I can't even call that a mistake.
I mean, that's who you want at the line in that spot. He's 4 for 4 on the day, up close to over 80% from the line on the year coming in. And just a huge, huge miss from Jaffe. You feel for him in that spot because he's as big of a reason why Fordham's even anywhere close in this game. He's the reason. Durkin, free throw, good. 71-64 Davidson. Because you work to get the steal and you don't get any points off it after the foul and you miss the free throw. Fordham 10 of 16 from the line in this game at 62.5%. Durkin goes 2 for 2 again at the line. 8-point lead for Davidson with 35 to go in the second half. Johnson across the timeline. Davidson with the pressure up high, don't want any threes. Pass deflected by LaPut into the scorer's table. Fordham will inbound with 30.7.
And here, you're looking for a catch-and-shoot 3 to have a chance of a prayer. Make it a 2-possession game.
Rivera inbounds to Medor, over to Johnson. He'll probably let it fly. From way downtown, it's too strong from Jackie. Durkin the rebound, the foul from Zona, and that will just about do it here from North Carolina. Davidson up by 8 with 23.8 to go in the second half. And free throws coming here once again, I believe, for Bobby Durkin.
Yeah, he's been great from the stripe for them so far. You You got to hope for a miss here out of the Rams. Anything, and just an off day for Durkin. Again, even though the Rams did such a good job at defending Reed Bailey, he still got his.
Durkin perfect on the first free throw.
There's a certain sense of improvement. Again, you did face a weaker opponent than your first three, as I mentioned before on the broadcast. But the Fordham Rams definitely look stronger, the strongest they have in conference play.
Shot clock turned off, 23 seconds to go. Medor will dribble ahead. And not sure what the call is here, but Fordham will inbound again. It's a 10-point Davidson lead, 74-64.
Yeah, and let him get back into the press. Like, where did this guy go to college? I wonder where this shot clock operator went to college.
But for Fordham, you just can't start the game as poor as they did on offense. It's been so much better here in the second half. But they had 20 points on the board at halftime. Dean will step into a three, no good. Dean gets it back, up high again for Johnson. His three off front rim, and the ball gets stuck in between the rim and the backboard. 13 seconds to go.
That's a jump in favor of the Wildcats.
Yep. Another killer blow for Fordham here down the stretch. Ball gets stuck on the side of the rim in the backboard, and Davidson will inbound following the jump ball. 13 seconds to go. We'll see if Fordham even foul here. They won't. They'll sit back with 10 seconds to go. Now some pressure on the double team coming from Durkin. Up ahead to Loughnane, and that will do it with 3 seconds, 2 and 1. Final score here from Belk Arena is Davidson 74, Fordham 64. The Rams fall to 0-4 in the Atlantic 10 this season, 8-9 overall. Davidson improved to 12-4 and 2-1 in the A10 for Fordham. Chaz, really it's just the 20 points on the board in the first half, just not enough when you're trying to claw back against a Davidson team like this.
Not enough, and they played so hard. Got to give my flowers to Jaffe Medor, a guy that always gets the criticism and never the credit. So solid offensively. He's a leader on this squad. He's a scorer. He's a playmaker. And you've got your last year maybe with him. And you have to hope that he's not disheartened. Again, the Manhattan performance, hitting those 3 go-ahead threes. And his teammates, again, they love him. He's a great leader, communicator. The Rams as a whole, just not enough in that first half. In this league, this conference, you can't be playing catch-up. You can't be playing catch-up.
So it's a 2-loss road trip for the Rams. Both games, much better efforts, I think you can say, compared to the first 2 games of A10 at home against St. Louis and St. Bonaventure. But any way you slice it, Chaz, Fordham 0-4, not where you want to be in the Atlantic 10 as we really get going here in the conference schedule.
Absolutely. You can talk about effort, moral victories, going into things like trying your hardest, but 0-4 is 0-4 at the end of the day. Rams looking to retool, get back to the Bronx, and make something happen of a so far disappointing conference slate.
Davidson will head out on a 2-game road trip at LaSalle on Wednesday and then Rhode Island next Saturday. For Fordham, they'll return home for the 100th anniversary celebration of the Rose Hill Gym on Wednesday against UMass. But for Nick Guzman, Chaz McAdams, we're saying so long here from Belk Arena, where the final score is Davidson 74, Fordham 64. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one postgame with George Sfugatakis.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome back to the Rose Hill Studios. George Sfugatakis here, joined by Lou Orlando. And unfortunately, the Fordham Rams were defeated by the Davidson Wildcats with an agonizing score of 74-64. Lou, if I'm Keith Ergo, what am I telling my players in the locker room?
You know, George, I really don't know, because I think the main key to this group, and you can talk about whatever adjustments you want to make, the main key should be keeping this group engaged. And that might be tough to do when you go 0-4 to start conference play and you have some of these tough losses, back-to-back tough losses on the road. So I'm glad that I'm not Keith Ergo going back into that locker room, because I think that's a really tough situation. And, I mean, what do you say? They played a good second half the way they needed to. I think the ultimate takeaway is you can't score 20 points in the first half and be down 16 going into the second half. And, you know, if this is a single-digit game, maybe that's a Fordham win. We're doing a lot of ifs and buts and maybes.
A lot of hypotheticals.
And that's what you do when a team isn't playing that well. And that's unfortunately where I think, the Rams are right now. It's, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best second halves they've played this season.
I agree, and it still wasn't perfect, though. It still was not perfect
Absolutely
by any means.
Not. Yep.
The three-point shooting was better, shooting at a 39% clip. Field goal percentage was better, shooting at a 44% clip. Coming back from a 6.7 and 23.1 percentage in the first half. This half was better basketball overall, but one thing that was lacking, I think, was the defense.
Yeah, they didn't get the stops that they needed to, and I think they were still a little too careless with the basketball. You look at some of the turnovers that they had. A Josh Rivera bounce pass that goes off of Matt Zona's foot and it becomes a backcourt violation. They had too many plays like that were just lapses. And I think you have a quote from the broadcast that stood out when Medor takes that free throw and it rolls around the rim 5 times and then goes out, and Nick goes, well, that's the way this season has gone. That's kind of what it feels like, right?
I agree.
That it's keep it interesting, but there's always something that goes wrong that prevents you from getting that extra level.
But in this half, there was better basketball being played
100%,
overall. There were
100%.
flurries. There were sparks. We thought we could go on a little bit of a run, and then it was quickly shut down by either a careless error or a Davidson deep three that magically goes in. This Davidson team is a solid team. They have good shooters. When you're looking at the stats, they had 3 guys in double digits, 2 guys scoring over 20 points. They were playing, I feel like, more clean team basketball than we were.
Absolutely. To the scoring point, the big 3 ended up playing the way you kind of expected, even though I thought Durkin had an off night, certainly from beyond the arc, 1 of 6. That's the A-10's leading shooter from beyond three-point land.
But then you had Blooms and Kuchera shooting 2 for 3 each.
Right, but it's more to say you still got the production from the big 3. Bailey, 23 points. Durkin, 15 and 13. That's a double-double. Kuchera had 20. So the production that you saw from that big 3, you kind of expect from Davidson, and that's a big 3 that's led them to, that's their 12th win of the season. They're 12-4. So we say all this, and we're saying that's another good A-10 team, but I think there's a lot of teams in the A-10 that are as good, if not better than Davidson. It's not a knock on Davidson. It's just the A-10 right now has a lot of really solid, really competitive teams where people kind of joke about the A-10 eats itself up and stays a one big league at times because there aren't enough powerhouses. There's too many teams that can knock each other off. I mean, the level of play is starting to get better where you have a lot of good teams, but it's still one of those leagues where you feel so many of the teams in the A-10 can go off on any given night, and they have so many teams that already are at double-digit wins at December, January. But listen, Davidson played the cleaner game, I thought, throughout. And Fordham's really struggled to play clean basketball. That has not been their strength. Even today, rebounding, you're looking for the Rams to get back on track in terms of rebounding. Hasn't necessarily been a strength for them, but it also hadn't been a strength for Davidson. But Davidson wins the rebounding battle. And that's another thing that it feels like Fordham not winning the attitude categories, which is not something you can really accept with this team, that's supposed to be attitude first.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the next contest, what do you think Fordham's number one thing to improve on?
It's a loaded question. I think it's still defense.
I agree.
This team's going to be
or coming out with energy, coming out from the tip with energy, being able to play a cleaner game from the tip. Because in this first half, shooting 23% from the field is not acceptable by any means.
Right. I think the energy and the defense honestly go hand in hand. When this team's playing with life, it's because they're getting steals and they're scoring at the other end.
In transition,
The defense is going to translate. It might be crazy for someone to hear me and say, they scored 20 points in the first half. You want the defense to get better? Because the defense is good, the offense will get better. When this team can run in transition, they're one of the best teams in the A-10. That might be crazy to say about the team that's currently dead last in the A-10, but they are. It's a truth. They haven't been able to run in transition all that much.
The best offense is a great defense.
They've had one of the worst defenses in the A-10 up until this point. You get a UMass team that, yes, they just beat Dayton. We got to find out what Dayton's all about. Back-to-back losses against teams that they should beat. UMass was, I'll double-check the score, but it looked like they were going to fall to George Mason. Going into the season, they were considered the bottom feeders of the A-10. I think still pound for pound, The pundits consider them the worst team in the A10. It's a home game. It's the 100-year celebration. That needs to be a win. If Fordham loses to UMass on Wednesday at home, it's too early to say that the season is over, but for all intents and purposes, it will be.
I agree. And that's going to do it from the Rose Hill Studios here. I'm George Fugatakis, joined by Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman, and Chaz McAdams giving play-by-play in color. Bobby Chaffardini is our sports director, and this Fordham men's basketball game on 90.7 FM has been a production of WFUV Sports.